Based on 10K per year, 20 cents per mile. Reserve security deposit required. Subject to TF and necessary approval. One of this payment. PK 8839 limit expires 7/31.
Hello, Sacramento. Doug Christie here, and I have something to share. Recently, I asked myself to determine the one most indispensable thing I use to do my job, the one I couldn't do without. The winner, forget the phone, which I live on, and the video editor, which makes my life understandable. The winner was the Good Feet 3-step arch support system. Yes, the one I tell you about each week keeps me going comfortably supported, pain relieved, and vital. So it strikes me that if Good Feet is the most important go-to tool to relieve pain or just keep me going, shouldn't you give it a try? I think so. Come to the Good Feet store today for a free, no-obligation arch support fitting, then take them for a test walk. Experience the comfort, balance, and support of the Good Feet 3-step arch support system. Good Feet in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and now Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
No look, Bibby to Weber, down the lane, flying jam. There's your play of the night right there. It's inside is Sabonis, a two-hand rip, a brilliant pass from De'Aaron Fox.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Christopher Lott with your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings ended their summer league with a 92-84 win over the Bucks. The Kings rookie Jalen Slauson led the team in scoring with 17 points to go along with 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. Kings end their summer league series with a 3-2 record. The Tennessee Titans are expected to sign free agent wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. According to ESPN's Diana Rossini, it is expected to be a 2-year deal with a base salary of $12 million that could reach up to $15 million the first year with incentives. Those are your headlines. Now let's get started with Whitey and Watkins.
They're going to take it for a W.
At your desk, on your phone, in the car. It's a show specifically for you, Sacramento. Whitey.
She got a new song out of this anyway. Hoops. I did it again. So that's right. Hello. Is this on?
Nope. Watkins.
I'm sorry. I know I don't want to be the wet blanket on everybody.
It's Whitey and Watkins, and it starts.
Hurry up!
Hope you had a great weekend. Hope you were able to stay cool enough to have a great weekend. Chris Watkins, great to be back with you on this wonderful, wonderful, steamy Monday, or even kind of smells steamy outside.
It does. It was hot. The tails of the heat were not over exaggerated. It was hot. It was a lot more humid than I'm used to it being around town. And I promised everybody that I was going to stay indoors, and I was outside all weekend. And it was not the right idea.
Not that I have people following you around or anything like that, but I heard you were golfing yesterday.
I was. It was not my finest idea, but it was a beautiful day. My idea was I was going to go over to my parents' place and swim at like noon, but I was like, on the way, it's a long drive. Let me stop at a golf course right before, maybe just, go to the range or something. Mm-hmm. Ended up playing 9 holes, and I was like, I played so good the first 9. I was like, I should run it back, and ended up playing 18. At least I had a cart. It wasn't insane. There's only one other group out there on the course. So I definitely felt crazy by the end of it. But, once you're in it, it's not so bad. It's the initial, building up the sweat. That's the tough part. Once you're past there, it
does keep you nice and loose.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Felt good, felt loose. And
you're loco,
man. I'm telling you, it wasn't so bad. And then right when I was done, went straight to my parents' place, hopped in the pool, ate some good dinner, barbecued. It was good Sunday. Good
so that's great. So you had a great weekend.
Yeah.
The Giants had a great weekend.
Sure.
Excuse me. 3-0 against the Pirates. Jordan Slauson had a bust out summer league finale.
How about that? Yeah. I mean, we've been talking about him struggling for a majority of this summer league. No one really played in that last game against Milwaukee on Saturday. But, the guys who did play, to their credit, actually played pretty well. It was
Jalen, I apologize. And I knew this as I said it. I apologize. You're a gentleman for not correcting.
It was a pretty good summer league basketball game, especially for all things considered of, all the guys we wanted to see. Jordan Ford wasn't playing. Colby Jones was out. Nemi's out. Keon Ellis didn't play either. So for what the players we got, it was pretty entertaining. Can't lie. But yeah, Jalen Slauson had himself a pretty good game. Minimal field goal attempts and had 8 of 9 from the free throw line.
Yeah,
good to see.
He was a distribution center.
Yeah, well, that's what he claimed to be Draymond Green in his NBA player comp, and with that means you better A, be able to pass the ball, and B, you better be able to play defense. And I think we finally saw some elements of that. I think it's been hard for him to kind of find his role early in this summer league, especially with, all the other players just kind of, who have stuck out have just kind of been more important. But, in a game where, it was time for him to step up, he did. So, absolute credit to him. And, he's got himself a 2-way contract. So it'll be interesting to see how he does and how comfortable he starts feeling once the season rolls around.
Those two teams that were out on the court, the Kings and the Bucks, like, whoa. I mean, it's nice to see Taco Fall again, but still. Anyway,
who's that?
Yeah, be that as it may. You know who won the weekend?
I unfortunately do. I was hoping we wouldn't talk about it, but
that's the show today is dedicated to. I think now when you talk about the great two-sport athletes in history,
we're not doing this.
Well, I think you've got, of course, you've got Bo Jackson,
sure,
on Mount Two Sport more,
sure.
You've got probably Dion, prime time,
absolutely. He deserves it, absolutely.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray, maybe, first round pick.
Do you remember Brian Jordan used to play for the Falcons and the St. Louis Cardinals? Really good.
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not Michael Jordan?
Michael Jordan.
Come on.
And
no, that's it. I think the list ends at that point.
One of the 10 greatest basketball players of all time and one of the greatest golfers of all time, Steph Curry.
He can really play.
Boy, this is right at it if it gets there. How about that?
Oh! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
I wish.
Well, hey, Raj, all I'll say is this. I think he pulled the right club.
That was a hole-in-one on Saturday.
Oh my gosh, so cute.
That was a hole-in-one. Then he went on to win with a clutch putt.
Mm-hmm.
Was that an eagle putt?
It was an eagle.
Yeah,
to
win
3 eagles on
the American
weekend.
Century Championship. Wow.
Yeah.
So he gets the final spot on Mount Two Sport.
Is that true? Yeah. Okay.
I don't see how you could look at it any other way.
It makes sense.
It's actually a fact.
Where was Draymond all weekend? I needed some Draymond this weekend. It makes to give Steph Curry his credit, it makes sense that his golf game has improved so much over this offseason. He's usually playing deep into the playoffs, but this year with his early exit in the playoffs, he had a little bit of extra time to get his golf game in. So, it makes sense that at least, he's spending his offseason right and playing a lot to golf. So
was that a shot? Because I think if it was, it barely cut any iron.
Barely hit him, barely scraped it. But I'm gonna keep firing. I'm gonna keep firing him at him all day. So he better be ready. It was whatever. It was. I was not entertained by watching Steph Curry.
You were not entertained.
I was not. It was very infuriating. I was hoping Sunday would be the day that there would be this great rise. Friday and Saturday. Oh my gosh, Steph Curry playing so incredible. And then I was hoping to just watch him crumble and collapse on Sunday. And he almost did. He really almost gave it away.
3 straight birdies in a row.
Almost gave it away. Yeah, really choked. And then he unfortunately, I do have to give him credit where credit's due. He came up pretty clutch. He did come up pretty clutch.
To win the American Century Championships at Edgewood. Yeah, and I know you're a Kings fan, and Steph says he heard from a lot of Kings fans this weekend.
Yeah, it's a 4-hour drive from my house to here, and like you said, there's a lot of Warrior fans. Surprisingly, there are a lot of not surprisingly, there are a lot of Kings fans, and surprisingly, they were way more loud or vocal than the Warrior fans. I heard a lot of Light the Beam. I heard a lot of, let's go Kings and all that type of stuff. So that gave me a little gas in the tank too, for sure. So, but I guess that's part of, even from my rookie year, when I was after my rookie year, with my first time playing in this tournament, you could tell that there's a lot of Dub Nation that would make the trip up and be here to support the tournament before I've even accomplished anything in the league. So it's only grown from here, and I appreciate the love and support for sure.
He definitely had a lot of fun. I mean, I know I'm kidding you. You're not the biggest Curry fan, but it was cool to see somebody at that level have so much fun like a little kid. And he's like, yeah, I made the putt like I've seen like Tiger do on TV.
It's not proper golf etiquette. That's all I was thinking when he was just running down the fairway like that. He's screaming out on the course. It's like, dude, like, you got to respect the unwritten rules there. Was just very not composed in those moments after being incredibly composed in moments. How about the fact that he just admitted that the Kings get under his skin? That's what I took from that. He said, those light the beam chants really, built a fire under him instead of him being like, oh, wow, Sacramento Kings fan, so great. Frankie was out at the tournament this weekend. He sent me pictures of De'Aaron Fox following Steph Curry's. Following him along his golf trail or whatever you would call it.
Following the group along.
Following the group along is what normal people would say. And, he can't just live with the fact that maybe some of those like the beam chants are about De'Aaron, who's following him a couple steps behind him. Instead, Steph is taking it personally and lets me know that Kings are truly in his mind. He's thinking about us and, it's a budding rivalry, and now even Steph is admitting it.
What did you do? What was your etiquette? How did you behave when you got your hole-in-one?
I'm
sorry.
I haven't gotten one.
You haven't got one?
I haven't yet. No.
Okay.
I did play on the par 3 course though this weekend just to prove that it's not that hard. And 18 holes later,
But when you get one, you're not going to run down the fairway.
I'm definitely not going to run down the fairway. Come on. It's like, act like you've been there before. He said it was his second hole-in-one ever. It's like, come on, dude. Like, we get it. Is this working?
Big fan of the Stableford scoring, I take it, huh?
Yeah. It's
Is that how you keep score when you're out there?
Weirdest scoring system ever as well. Like, are we going to acknowledge the fact you keyed me in on this morning? Marty Fish on that Sunday. Shot a 69. Wardell, Stephen Curry. 72.
But how does he win then? Stableford scoring.
You're going to have to explain that one to me because I don't really understand it.
Joe Pavelski of the Dallas Stars was 3rd. Mark Mulder was 4th, former Athletic and Cardinal. Aaron Rodgers 5th. He was 1 spot ahead of Annika Sorenstam. Derek Lowe 7th. Tony Romo finished 8th.
What a terrible top 5. I mean, Steph and Aaron Rodgers, it was like that tournament was meant to upset me. It's unbelievable. How can these two the worst people in my life are incredible at a sport that I wish I could be great at? Nothing more infuriating. Nothing more. That's why I'm the bad boy of media.
Every time now if you're watching the Warriors on national TV, especially if they're playing the Kings, especially if they're playing here, just up the road from here last summer, Steph won the American Century Celebrity Golf Championship. He's a pretty good golfer.
I hate that you're right about that.
I know it's going to happen
every time.
Single.
Hey, he's a pretty good golfer. In fact, last summer, just up the road to Tahoe, he won the tournament
every single time.
Here's the hole-in-one he had.
Here's the hole-in-one. To be honest, too, like the hole-in-one to me, I mean, incredible shot. But the eagle that he hit, I think it was on Friday, where he did kind of do a walk-off as well. Like that was the most impressive one. He hits it on a down slope, like to his right. He doesn't even aim at the hole and it just rolls in. To me, that was his hole-in-ones are great and all, and obviously are incredible. But to me, that was the shot where I was like, this is just not like anybody can swing, whatever, not anybody, but holes-in-ones or whatever. But when you hit a putt like that, that's where I'm like, all right, this guy clearly is just a
holes-in-one or whatever.
Hole-in-one or whatever. No hitters, whatever.
That's right.
Sick eagle putts. Those are dope.
The coolest thing to me about the hole-in-one, I know everyone was focusing on his reaction, but the coolest thing to me was when he hit it and you see close up on his face and he knows right off the club like, ooh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And you can relate to that. If you've ever hit a golf ball, there's been at least once
that's a lot.
You hit one, it's like, hey, I did it right. Yeah. And he hits it and he's got that look in his eyes like, whoa, that's going to be worth following.
Yeah. The one thing I will give Stephen Curry credit for.
What's that? You'll give him credit for?
I didn't say that. I didn't say it. Like that's the kind of reaction you should have. Like if you hit, like it is good to see that sort of like youthful exuberance. Even when he won the tournament, like throws his hat in the air like Bobby Schmurder. You never see it hit the ground. Runs over to his wife, gives him a huge, like you could tell that moment actually truly meant something to him. And that was really cool to see. The fact that, this guy who's won 4 NBA championships cares about this golf tournament as if it's honestly, and I'm sure if you ask him, he would admit like it's probably one of the biggest crowning achievements in his athletic career.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mount to sport more.
Okay.
Make room for Wardell, Stephen Curry.
I didn't say it.
Up next, Summer League Stock Up, Stock Down with Whitey and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
It's Whitey and Watkins on Sactown Sports. The Kings are running it back.
He's got the bucket at the buzzer. Harrison Barnes, Alex Lynn just went above the iron with a two-hand throwdown. And that was as nasty as we've seen him in a Kings uniform.
And welcoming some new faces.
Oh, and here comes Vezenkov. He gets the big finish. Fisher rejected by Mr. Vezenkov.
Keep it locked on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com for the latest Kings news.
If this were a Reese's TV ad, you'd be staring at a Reese's peanut butter cup. And sure, my voice is peanut buttery smooth, but still, you need to see the peanut butter cups, right? No? I can really just say Reese's and you'll go get some? Okay. Reese's. 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 Really working, actually. Reese's. Reese's. I'm onto something. Reese's. Reese's. Reese's.
Hey kids, it's Carmichael Dave from my good friends at Fire Wings, the perfect fast casual eating establishment for the entire family. A great place to enjoy all the ball games from all around the country with 21 delicious flavors to choose from. Bone in, bone out. For more convenience, order online. Go to firewings.com, find a location near you, grab that order online and tell them Carmichael Dave sent you. Fire Wings, hey, just wing it.
Check out Whitey and Watkins now on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and watch the show from your desk.
On the YouTube chat, we have from IPH, let the man run after a hole-in-one. He's not John Rahm. Cam Cruz says, I was there. There was some Keegan Murray chants, too. It was pretty funny.
Keegan's going to enter that tournament really soon. I hear Keegan is a fan. Keegan even admits he's a fantastic golfer. Said he grew up on the course with him, his brother, and his dad. I would love to see. I am very curious who is the best golfer on the Kings. I'm pretty sure it's Keegan Murray. I've heard Kevin Herter also has a nice swing.
Dwayne Baker says, I got one on the 11th hole at Turkey Creek. I couldn't see it go in, so didn't know until we got to the green. So
all counts.
Family Schlegel says, you didn't run to the green. So, nope, I did not Steph on it. Yeah.
My guy.
I had the same, my hole-in-one, same thing at Diamond Oaks, where it's like, I
Right.
I don't know where that was a good shot, but I don't know. I can't see. We get up there, look for the ball. Someone said, Joe Borowski, I think, said, look in the hole. It might be in the hole. It's like, come on.
It's in the hole. Yeah. It's in the hole. It'd be a lot better. I mean, like, that's the dream is seeing it go in, because then you do get like the entire reaction of running down. You get the excitement, the build up. Like, if you don't know it's in before you go down there, it's just like you're just anxious. You're like, oh my gosh. And then you're like, I can't get my hopes up too much. I don't want to just be crushed. But yeah, no, I mean, it was a cool hole-in-one, and it was a cool reaction. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
Summer League's almost over. Can you believe it? We've got the Summer League championship game.
I can't
tonight.
Truly believe it. Yeah. I wouldn't say I'm excited for a Summer League final, but I am excited for Summer League to be over, not to not have basketball, but just it feels like this Summer League experience has probably gone on a couple days extra than what it probably needs to go.
It's also the first trophy of the series of trophies in the NBA this season.
Do they have a name for this? I saw that they're getting rings.
Crown.
They're getting rings for Summer League this year. I could not believe it. It's like real diamond and crest.
Wow.
Why? Chris is right, though. It is the beginning of the treble.
I guess, I mean, on some level, the teams think, hey, winning is winning, and we want to start to establish how important it is. And even though it's Summer League, if you're keeping score, you want to win.
Right.
I don't know.
I think they spin it that way, but
yeah,
I think if you gave every GM and governor truth serum, they would be
Summer League.
It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter.
Summer League.
It means nothing.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Mike joins us on Sactown Sports. Hey, Mike, how was your weekend? Mike?
Mike.
We have lost Mike.
Oh, hey, you guys got me?
Yeah. You're there. What's up? Yeah.
Weekend was all right. I stayed inside. It was pretty scorching hot outside.
Yeah.
Hey, I just wanted to pose a question to you guys. A lot of people are saying the Kings had a successful free agency, and I agree with that in some ways. But the biggest the biggest miss I think that the Kings, didn't really address besides the defense was lack of big man depth. And I think from what it looks like, they're going to try and slide Lyles as a backup center. Do you think that that's going to be an issue, especially towards the middle of the season when Sabonis needs, some rest, or some nights he's going to need some minutes restrictions? Do you think that's going to be an issue for the Kings?
Thanks for the question. Thanks for listening. I have to tell you, he sounds a lot like Bob Myers. I was like, is this really Bob Myers calling? What does he care about?
Hey, man, he's got free time these days. He's still interested in the league. I think it's definitely a concern for sure. I mean, their depth at center was the problem last year as well. At the trade deadline, the thing everyone was saying was they need to go out and get a backup center. That problem still has yet to be addressed. So this is going to be year 2 now of having this major problem. And I do think it is a major problem because Sabonis is going to play a majority of minutes, probably 36 to 40 minutes, 35 to 40 minutes. So, your backup center is not going to be eating up a ton of time, but what if Sabonis goes down for any stretch of time? Trey Lyles as the starting center. It's a good change of pace. It's a good different look to give teams, but that can't be the look that you give people. Like that can't be what you're rolling out there every night. So that's very concerning. And, also there is still no rim protectors out on the team. And I think backup center is still definitely something that needs to be addressed. I wouldn't say it's not going to be addressed because there still is time to add some people on the back end of the roster, but it's definitely still a concern at this moment.
My guess would be they look at it this way. I understand the concern. A couple of years ago, I was kidding about Bob Myers, but that Warrior team won a championship. They didn't have much size, and all season long, people were wondering, when are they going to get size? When are they going to get size? Oh, they were supposed to have Wiseman back. They never got Wiseman back. They did win a championship without much size at all. The Kings at least have Alex Len. And he's big. Sure. And I know he doesn't give you rim protection, things like that. But my guess is, they'll look at what's available out there and maybe Ket ends up making the team. But my guess is the way they look at it is, well, we got Sabonis. Trey Lyles can play a small ball 5. And we got Len. So I think their thinking is they have enough.
I don't think the Kings are the Warriors. Like, I just don't think they're built in that same way to withstand that. Like, I think the Warriors are built to make other teams go small as well. And I think the Kings in theory are, but the way that they're built doesn't necessarily, like Sabonis, if Sabonis is going to be on the floor, you can, as the opposing team, put a true big out there. I think it's still a problem. I just think that you need to have, or it's just nice. It's comfortable. It's a very good comfort
I understand
piece
it.
to have.
I understand it.
I don't think it's a necessity, because I don't think that bringing in, even if they would have brought in whoever your favorite rim protector is, Mo Bamba, Robin Lopez, Brooke Lopez, whatever, that's one player. It's not going to change the entirety of how your team looks. It can maybe patchwork a couple minutes here or there, but one backup center isn't going to make some massive shift on how the Kings play. Really, the best option at backup center, in my opinion, was to go with a guy who's pretty much just like Sabonis. I would have gone for a guy like Mason Plumlee if I could have my pick of backup center, because I just don't think you're going to fix any problems with one guy. I think you should just lean into what you're already good at and just continue that process with your backup center instead of trying to address any issues.
They're not only leaning into what they have, they're leaning into what they have. We'll see if that's enough. We'll see if that's enough. And I think there were players out there that maybe would have addressed these needs, but they either they weren't available.
Yeah.
We talked a lot about, I know you got tired of everybody talking about
Naz Reid.
Right. And Plumlee probably would look at the situation and say, I want to go somewhere I'm going to play more.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, that's the problem.
I think they probably wanted to upgrade, but they look at it and say, we should be okay there. And we'll find out.
Right. I
think
it's a great question. I just think that they kind of believe in Alex Len a little bit as well. I think they feel like they might have, gone to him a little bit too late in last year and didn't give him a great shot to truly get integrated into the offense. The last 10 to 15 games of Len, even in the playoffs, even though he got pulled because he kind of had to because the way the Warriors play, he wasn't playing terribly. I wouldn't say the Kings were just getting eviscerated in those Alex Len minutes. Sometimes it was tough because he would get switched onto the perimeter, and that's going to be tough for most big men. But for the most part, Alex Len was a pretty serviceable backup. So I would assume that their answer is just going to be when they go against teams like Minnesota, who have Karl Anthony Towns, Naz Reid, Rudy Gobert, they're going to lean more into Alex Len. But saying that, we also saw last year in those times, they went to Trey Lyles. So I just think it's going to be those two guys, depending on however they feel the matchup best works out. I think that's how they're going to go. It's just kind of by committee.
The other side of that coin, specifically against a team like Minnesota, is, and not again to keep talking about the Warriors, but obviously they are built in some ways in, they run the same offense.
Yes.
A team like the Warriors, when they play those big, especially Gobert, they would just play them off the floor.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. You would just try and get him into switches. And that's
why
why
worry about, we need a big to match up with them. It's like, we're going to draw him outside and he can't come out here and guard us.
Right.
And they won't be able to play him.
Right. Minnesota was actually the worst example that I could use because the Kings actually discovered Trey Lyles at the 5 in that Minnesota game.
Right.
That was when they
That's
discovered
a big part of the answer too.
Exactly. So maybe actually against smaller lineups, maybe my bigger point is I think Alex Len will find it'll be by committee. And I don't think that I think most of the time they'll go to Trey Lyles, but if they find that they're truly getting killed, like if everyone remembers that New York Knicks game where they are just getting murdered on the offensive glass, maybe just some more size in general can help alleviate those problems. And I think that's the times when they'll go to Alex Len. And I think a majority of the time, like Mike said, it seems like they're going to go with Trey Lyles as the main backup 5.
So you think Keta makes the team? You don't have to answer that because we'll find out. I think he's one of the principals in Summer League stock up, stock down.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, and we will dive into that next year. He's Watkins. I'm Whitey, and this is Sactown Sports.
Whitey and Watkins. Sactown Sports.
Catch the Oakland A's every weekend on Sactown Sports. Friday nights, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Sinking, that's going to get down for a hit. Around third to score is Tony Kemp. And the A's have taken the lead. Edge of the track makes the catch. And the Athletics get a great win.
Sactown Sports, your weekend home for the Oakland A's.
Sactown Sports coverage of the Oakland A's is brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave, and I recognize, just like my friends at American Energy Heat and Air, that your time is important. And that's why shopping for a new air conditioner is now easier with American Energy Heat and Air's online quoting tool. All you have to do is go to AmericanEnergyAir.com and get an instant quote right now. It'll help you determine what system you're going to need to get. It'll provide the best pricing options, all from the comfort of your home without having to have somebody come to your home. You know how annoying that is? They come in and everybody there is so sweet and nice, but how much better is it to be able to get it on demand? Visit AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out how easy it can be. Or if you want to give them a call and talk through what your needs are, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
If you're ready for some leisure in your life, let me recommend El Macero Country Club, just 15 minutes from downtown Sacramento. Play our stunning championship golf course. Practice on our manicured short game facility. Cool off in our 50-meter swimming pool. Play tennis. Enjoy social events and mouth-watering dining options after a great day of play. We're now accepting new social and golf memberships for a limited time. Visit elmacerocc.org and put some leisure back in your life at El Macero Country Club.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Players of all abilities will tell you that Bartley Cavanaugh Golf Course is the area's #1 course for fun. Whether you're a beginner or an accomplished player, Bartley Cavanaugh has something for you. It's a great walking course, but motorized carts are available too. The moderately sized greens and generous fairway landing areas will add to your satisfaction and smiles for the day. Near the banks of the picturesque Sacramento River, Bartley Cavanaugh features the brand new tap room for all your beverage needs. For tea times, visit bartleycavanaugh.com. It's Sacramento's #1 course for fun.
Attention home services contractors who want to grow their business with more leads while leveraging their marketing costs to receive over 10 times the value in advertising. Subcontractors United is offering 40 home services contractors from architects to landscapers to participate in our advertising co-op. For less than $2,100 per month, you'll share in over $83,000 a month in advertising. That's $1 million a year in advertising for under $2,100 a month. And because there's only 3 subcontractors per category, not 3,000, your lead potential is unlimited. Generate more leads than you ever thought possible. Be one of only 3 subcontractors in a category and receive $1 million a year in advertising by leveraging the power of a united group. That's subcontractorsunited.com or Google Subcontractors United for more information. But hurry, categories are filling up.
Sactown Sports
Headlines.
I'm Christopher Lott with your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings ended their summer league with a 92-84 win over the Bucks this weekend. Kings rookie Jalen Slauson led the team in scoring with 17 points to go along with 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. Kings end their summer league series with a 3-2 record. The Tennessee Titans are expected to sign free agent wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. According to ESPN's Diana Rossini, it is expected to be a 2-year deal with a base salary of $12 million that could reach up to $15 million the first year in incentives. That's it for your headlines. Now let's get back to Whitey and Watkins, where they're going to take you through the summer league stock up and stock down.
Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins looks like he's headed for the Titans. So Bill Belichick, who may or may not be on the hot seat soon enough, missing out on Hoppy Hopkins.
Yeah, very surprising because that's all I've been hearing is DeAndre Hopkins, Patriots. Like those are the two. They're circling each other, and it just seems like a matter of time. And then kind of felt, unless I was just not looking at the right sourcing, it seemed to me like the Titans kind of came out of nowhere there, and doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I know people are getting excited about Derrick Henry and D Hop now together, and I remember the same hype happening last year for Derrick Henry and Julio Jones pairing together might be a problem for the league. Look out! I don't know if it's really going to make that big of an impact. DeAndre Hopkins is a fantastic receiver, still one of the best in the NFL, but Ryan Tannehill is much, much past, he was already a slightly above average quarterback. Now I would say with how he's deteriorated with age, I mean, he's getting up there these days. I don't know if he's really going to be super productive next year.
Looks like Vrabel had an in with him from their previous time with, I think the Texans?
Oh, Texans probably.
Yeah. And then also there's some speculation that Belichick liked him, but maybe not enough to outbid the Titans. Hopkins has a reputation as a guy that doesn't always want to practice, which is, that happens. But for Belichick's probably like, we'll find somebody else.
Yeah, sure. We're not going to bend our rules for anybody. I mean, I think the Patriots probably could have really used a playmaker like DeAndre Hopkins. I'm not a big McCorkle Jones guy, so I feel like the more talent that you can get surrounded Mac Jones, I think obviously the better. I'm not really too in love with the Patriots receiving crew right now, and I think DeAndre Hopkins clearly would have been a massive addition to that team. Instead, he's going to the Titans, who I don't think it's a bad move for them. Absolutely. I mean, you're giving Ryan Tannehill a legitimate target to just throw the ball to. They could be a very dangerous offense, and Titans have been fantastic. They've been quietly very, very good these past 3 or 4 years under Vrabel. Feels like every year they're within contention of 11 to 12 wins, and this is definitely a good step towards doing that again next year.
Don't you think Derrick Henry is a huge part of that? I mean, he's been that good, and then at some point he's going to wear down, and then once he does, maybe the calculus changes for them. But you see, there's plays on the goal line where they just fake it to him and 11 defenders follow
exactly.
him.
Yeah.
And Tannehill's like, hello,
I can walk in. Yeah. He can literally walk into the end zone.
That much gravity.
Absolutely. And you're right. Like at some point he's probably going to slow down, but I feel like we've been saying Derrick Henry's going to slow down the last 3 or 4 years. And if I'm not mistaken, Derrick Henry had 1,900 rush yards last year.
And yet the NFL clearly valuing wide receivers much more than they are running backs.
Right. I know it's funny how that works. I think it's just, Derrick Henry is one of the and truly few bell cow backs that are still out there in the league. And I think those guys still carry their weight, but it's the other guys. I mean, it's the guys who, aren't essentially automatic 1,500 yards every year that are being replaced and are just incredibly less valuable than what they've been in the past. But Derrick Henry, year after year after year, even when people write him off, just continues to prove like, look, I'm quite literally built different, and I'm not going to slow down.
He's like a 1970s running back.
He really
today,
is.
I think is it a franchise tag deadline day for Jacobs and Saquon
Jacob and
Barkley?
Saquon, right? I know. Yeah, neither of them have signed. Neither of them seem to have any intention on signing that franchise tag. So
they're trying to prove a point.
Right. Absolutely. And, it's not just them. We've been talking about for weeks now, different running backs, which should tell you it's not just like a couple guys feeling upset about their contract. It's everyone from Austin Eckler to all the free agent guys to Christian McCaffrey, every single running back, Leonard Fournette. All of these guys have made different comments, essentially saying the same thing, that for whatever reason, we just aren't valued, and we're not going to just sit here and allow it to happen. We're not just going to sign these franchise tags. We're not just going to sign. Dalvin Cook's not just going to sign for a veteran minimum so that he has a job. They're going to go out there and try and get what they feel like they deserve. And I think, they're totally justified in doing so. Like, those guys, if they accept those minimum rules, that just sets the precedent for the future that you're losing it for future. You're losing future battles for other guys if you're just going to take a job just to take it. At some point, these guys have to put their foot in the ground, and it's good to see. And I think it's a couple of years past due, but I'm glad that something's finally being done about it from the running backs, because Lord knows the NFL isn't going to take any take it softly on those guys.
I'm pulling for them, but I think it's a battle they cannot win. But we will see. Summer League wrapping up tonight, so. Here's Chris Watkins with Summer League stock up, stock down.
Very simple premise here. It's just how are you feeling about these guys in relation to how you felt about them coming into Summer League? Very, very simple concept. We'll start up at the top. We'll do the first 3 picks, and then we'll move on to some Kings guys. Victor Wembanyama obviously had a less than ideal first game, came out in the second game, had a 20-point performance, I think 20 and 12, and then was shut down for the remainder of Summer League. Whitey, stock up, stock down.
Flat. I mean, my expectations were huge. His first game was a little it was unsettling, but you could understand what was going on there. In the second game, his numbers were great, but there's still a lot of work to be done. So really, I don't view him any differently than I did before Summer League started. So not to dodge your first one, but clearly to me, Wemby right now, stock up, stock down. Yeah, it's about what I thought.
I think it's even. Yeah, I think it's probably irresponsible to go either way. Like, Wemby definitely.
I got a lot invested in him, and I'm holding on.
Holding. Maybe there's a third option. Up, down, or hold.
Yeah.
I'll say that in general, I would say that his stock is down, but only because his stock was so massively high when it first came in. I mean, we're talking about buying in to Apple right now or something like that. Like, he is at peak value, and there's just, Apple's probably not a great example. I don't know anything about the stock market. Anyways, I just think that there's, we were talking Victor Wembanyama, generational prospect, never seen anything like this. Could be the best prospect in team sports, according to Adrian Wojnarowski.
Yeah.
I think that it's safe to say that maybe we are at a safer evaluation process than that. And
just stock down?
I'm going to say stock down, but only because it was so massively high to start with. So I'm going to say stock down on Wemby.
Well, you already are on record as saying he is not going to win Rookie of the Year.
I did say that. I definitely did say that. And I do kind of believe it. I feel like there is, I would say, an equal shot in my mind that Scoot Henderson has a great rookie season and impresses more and most importantly, plays more than what Victor is going to do in year one. I could definitely see Scoot being Rookie of the Year. So let's go to Scoot. Scoot number 2, or sorry, Scoot was actually the number 3rd pick in the draft.
Yeah.
But we'll do Scoot second here. Stock up, stock down, holding stock on Scoot Henderson.
Stock up only because it appears now that Dame's almost certainly gone. And I know I was a little behind the curve on appreciating Scoot.
Yeah, you were.
There are issues with his jump shot. You can say that about a ton of players, but it looks like he's going to get a chance to play and play a lot because of that, primarily, and because he's incredibly athletic.
Yeah,
and he knows what he's doing. He's smart. He says, I think I can do just about anything right now because of the Dame situation. To me, stock up.
I'm right there with you. Stock up for everything you just said. I think he's going to be a crazy talent, and I was just incredibly impressed. Even though we only saw 20 minutes of Scoot, that was all I needed to see. Shut him down. I don't care. I've seen enough. dude is, like I said, going to be in the contention for Rookie of the Year.
We can do one more now. We'll have more.
We'll move to the Kings one later.
Yeah.
So we'll do the number 2 pick in the draft, Brandon Miller. A lot of downs. Some ups, I guess you could say, through California Classic and through Vegas. Stock up, stock down, or are you holding stock on Brandon Miller?
Very volatile stock.
Very
volatile.
For
a few days there, like sell. It's like, oh, hold on. Budget. Yeah, I think it's trending upwards after a really slow start.
Yeah,
he had some really nice games, and looks like I think he's a good fit there roster wise. And yeah, I think he found his way, and I think a stock up. He looks like he's going to be a good player.
I'm going to sell all but one of my shares in Brandon Miller.
Really?
I want to be there. If I want to say I was there if it happens, but I do not feel good about where this is going. I feel like traditionally when you look at drafts 1, 2, and 3, it's like, okay, 2 of them will work out. 1 of them probably won't. It's very rare that you look at top 3 of a draft and all 3 of those guys are going to be incredible, or at least justify being picked at that spot. I think it's just going to be Brandon Miller is going to be the odd man out.
I think
he could be okay, but
too much emphasis on the stinking California Classic, which we love and was great.
Sure.
But he was really bad in that first game.
Yeah, I think he's going to be better without so much pressure on. Like, I don't think, he's not. LaMelo Ball is going to have the ball in his hands a good amount of the time in Charlotte. I just did not like pretty much anything I saw from him shot creation wise. I don't like him attacking the rim. I think he can shoot it really well, but I don't know if he's going to be like, I think he can be like a Mikal Bridges maybe at best, which is fantastic, but I don't know if I see him reaching that potential. I think he's going to be a good NBA player. I don't know if he's going to be, justified as the number 2 pick in this year's draft.
Wayne Baker asked about Chet Holmgren. Maybe we'll circle around to him too.
All the way up. I love Chet.
So you're saying Wemby will not win Rookie of the Year, but you're not saying that Miller's going to win Rookie of the Year.
I will exactly. I will say that Brandon Miller will not win Rookie of the Year. I can almost guarantee that.
All right, we'll return to stock up, stock down. That's some good stock advice there. Good investment advice coming up. Although we disagree almost across the board.
Yep, pretty much.
Did you want the 49ers to keep Robbie Gould? Well, it turns out so did Robbie Gould. That story is next. Whitey and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Whitey
and Watkins
on Sactown Sports. Get all the latest 49ers news heading into the 2023 season on Sactown Sports.
I think Brock was smart, and we kind of facilitated that he met with a bunch of different surgeons. The hope is he's ready for the regular season. We'll take it as it comes, as we're doing. He's working incredibly hard, and the early returns are really good.
Sactown Sports, Sacramento's official home for 49ers football.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Anywhere fans go to cheer on their team, there are behind-the-scenes MVPs, ensuring everything is game day ready. We see you, Joe, fixing seats so every fan can enjoy every game. And Allie, who keeps her stadium running smoothly from the moment the first game starts to the last play of the season. At Grainger, you're our MVPs, and we're always here for you, with supplies and solutions for every industry and 24/7 customer support. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At Ashton & Price, over the last 25 years, we've won just about every injury case you can think of. Slip and fall, falling merchandise, fell through rotted decking, we won those. Dangerous stairs, falls into holes, dog bites, won them. Injured while pedestrian or on a bicycle, auto, motorcycle, big rig, company vehicle, Uber, or Lyft accident, we've won them all. And the best news is there's no fee until you win. So no matter how you got injured,
remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Summertime is a great time to get your home evaluated for solar, and while you're at it, make sure your roof is in good shape for all seasons. Hey, Jason Ross here to tell you about ACR Solar and Home Services. Go to acrsolar.com to find out all the different things that they can provide for you. And while we're all watching utility costs go up, along with everything else, why not make the most of the sunshine beating down on your roof? Harness that solar power and cut those rising utility bills while at the same time improving the value of your home. ACR Solar and Home Services makes it easy with a simple evaluation that'll show you just what it would take to get your home generating savings that help your bottom line and help protect the environment. So start now, and while you're there, ACR Solar and Home Services can make sure your roof is in prime condition. So just go to acrsolar.com and start your savings today. ACR Solar and Home Services, quality, value, and integrity since 1979.
Make the Sacramento Rivercats part of your plans this summer. With weekly promotions, fun theme nights, and exclusive giveaways, there's always something for everyone at Sutter Health Park. Mark your calendar for Friday, July 21st for the next giveaway in this season's lineup. The first 2,500 fans receive a Dinger Hits Dingers bobblehead featuring Sactown's favorite cat, our beloved mascot Dinger. Stick around postgame on Fridays and Saturdays for the brightest fireworks show in town. For tickets, visit rivercats.com.
Download the Sactown Sports app and listen to Whitey and Watkins on your smartphone.
Still working on a poll, Chris Watkins. Maybe we could get your help here. We may or may not go with this on our YouTube page. Steph Curry's win over the weekend was, and it's like fantastic, unbelievable, the greatest thing ever. I don't know. We're just running out of, there are only so many words to describe how amazing that was. How's that coming along there, Bilal?
I think a good
Steph
poll
Curry
would be
poll.
No.
It's like, I don't think anyone can have a negative opinion about it.
No, of course not. Of course not.
I think a good poll would be who is the best two-sport athlete ever, and I would like it on record to know exactly that people understand that.
Oh, Steph's not. That's silly. Steph's not the greatest two-sport athlete ever. He's merely top 5 or 4 easily.
He's not the best, just one of the best.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Bo Jackson, come on.
I hate this.
Hello, come on.
I hate this so
much.
It's just like
Bo was
you
just
can only
like a
be good
different-
at one thing. It's not fair. It's not fair to be elite at multiple things like this. It's like I have to be a hater. Like, how can you not be a hater? It's like why? Why are you? Why you? Why you? Why did it have to be the Warriors? Why couldn't you play for like the Minnesota Timberwolves, like where it wouldn't affect my life at all, but it just has to be so directly in my face. It hurts. It really hurts. It really sucks to see this man succeed so much.
You gotta go
I am.
with it.
I'm going
You gotta
with this.
accept
I'm
it.
leaning into
Wow.
this hatred thing.
Yeah.
His hater mentality. It's a lot easier for me to lean into that than to be disingenuous, because it truly does make me upset. Like watching him hit that hole in one, I would love to be joking around right now, but it does really boil something. It just boils my blood and it really gets me upset. I'm just like, why do you have to be so playful? Why do you have to be so just, man?
There are people listening to this right now, Chris, who think like, oh, he's just playing this up for the show.
No.
But this is what you are off the air as well.
No,
it's
just
worse
bothers
off the
me.
air.
It's just,
Way
I can
worse
use
off
the
the air.
language I want to use.
He's tempering it on the
I
air.
am. I'm trying to temper it. I'm also trying to find words that are acceptable to use to properly explain how upset it truly makes me to see this dude just be so ridiculous. Like, I almost said he's ridiculously good at golf. I almost did it, and I'm not going to admit it. It's just really frustrating to watch this guy excel at so many things and be so incredible and so just like skilled at things that are so hard to do, and he does make it look so easy. Why?
My first thought when I saw him hit that hole in one was, oh no, Chris is going to see this and he is going to have
so bad
just a meltdown.
I first saw it because he texted it to me and he said, I'm sick. It's like, oh, I thought he was sick. Like, oh, you're not going to be here on Monday. I'm sick. And then he sent me the highlight.
It was so gross.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just his happiness drove me crazy. Everyone celebrating with him drove me crazy. It's just like, man, again, pick a thing. Pick a thing.
You know,
can't be good at everything.
This may be an obvious point, but the putt yesterday was way more impressive than the hole-in-one.
That's what I'm
A
saying.
hole-in-one is rare, but there's a degree of luck.
Yes.
He had a really good shot, a great shot, and it went in. The putt is like...
You're talking about the one on 18?
Yeah,
Yes.
to win the thing.
Absolutely.
You have to make this putt, and that's not a short putt.
No, I mean, that's something where it's like, good luck, Miles Teller. Like, you're not used to that kind of, like, that's actual sports pressure. Like, there's already pressure of, you're on the 18th and there's tons of people physically behind. It's tough to tee off when the group behind you is watching you tee off, let alone whatever, how many people were out there, hundreds of people out there.
It's really hard. I had to try to do that once, and it's really
for the
hard.
win. And that was a long putt. It was an eagle putt. It was, I don't know how long, 20 yards out, 30 yards, 25 yards out. He drilled it. Like, he freaking nailed the putt and walked off.
I don't think it was feet.
I'm sorry,
yards.
I said yards.
Yeah.
Again, math, not my strong suit. Numbers are hard. So tough, man. They're so tough.
30 yards.
That's distance. That's like Patrick Mahomes or something.
What would that be in feet, Chris? 30 yards.
That's 90.
Yeah.
Hey. Come on now. Shout out math teachers. I just, it was an incredible putt, and for him to that's something that only an athlete could do. Like, to me, you have to be just in the fire all the time to be able to relax yourself in that kind of moment and hit something that clutch. Like,
do you know how
impressive.
Yeah, it was. Do you know how Robbie Gould did? I know he was there. I don't know how he played.
I can't find his score.
The story with Robbie Gould, though, is he was talking to Matt Mayoko, and I think Nate mentioned this today, and I was with him. I was kind of under the impression that maybe he didn't want to come back. Robbie Gould said, I would have loved to have gone back there, talking about to the 49ers. I told them I wanted to go back there. We never got an offer from the team, and we never had a conversation about coming back. And he's still without a team ahead of his, what would be, if he plays, his 19th season. But after, 6 years with the Niners, he said he wanted to go back there. 40 years old, of course. Last season, he made 27 field goals, 84.4% on his 32 attempts. He missed one extra point, and apparently the 49ers just felt time to move on.
I mean, seriously, we kind of been joking about it since it happened, but that kind of tells me how big they might have been on Jake Moody. I mean, the fact that it seems like they had no intention of bringing back Robbie Gould, which, re-signing a kicker is the easiest thing to do. It's just like, okay, he was fine last year, didn't kill us last year. Let's just bring him back. He's 40. We know what we're going to get from him. He's going to be incredibly consistent.
He's
might not
never
have the
missed
same leg, but
a field goal. Pardon me, but he's never missed a field goal try or an extra point attempt in 16 playoff games.
I mean, you're not going to find, unless you get Justin Tucker, you're just not going to find that level of consistency.
If the Vikings had that, they would have been in the Super Bowl.
Okay. All right. I thought we were talking about Robbie.
We are.
Robbie Gould, just to let you guys know, tied for 20th, along with Derek Carr and Harrison Smith.
Not bad. Harrison Smith, Viking. Didn't know Derek Carr was there this weekend. I don't think I saw anything from DC this weekend.
Wow, nobody cared, huh?
I guess not. I guess that's what happens when you move out of the state or something.
Thank you, Chris.
I think I'm surprised to hear that. I mean, Robbie Gould has been there for a while now and has been incredibly consistent. And seriously, it does let me know that the 49ers must have locked in on Jake Moody really early in the process. And clearly, with him being a third-round pick, they have a lot of hopes that he can be seriously a really good kicker. I know we've been kind of joking about, him being, I don't know if you're serious or not about offensive rookie of the year, but he's,
of course I'm serious.
I think
I don't joke about sports, man.
I guess not. Yeah. I think that is just very telling of how they feel about Jake Moody.
Yeah. He was making $4.7 million a year. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
They
I was like, that's kind of a lot.
We can get a good kicker for a lot cheaper than that. Younger.
Sure. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. But as soon as, if they get into the postseason and Moody misses a kick, and maybe he won't. They love his demeanor,
right?
But if he does, then you're going to hear a lot about, Robbie Gould would have never missed that kick,
right? Exactly. Like, yeah,
and they got Zane Gonzalez too, by the way,
right? Exactly, and that's that seems to
insurance policy.
Yeah, exactly. I think Moody was brought in to probably be more hit the longer field goals. He's a younger guy, got a big leg on him. He can, kick 50, 60-yard field goals, and Robbie Gould at the age of 40 might not be able to get that leg that he once had. But to me, I would much rather have an accurate kicker, a kicker that from 50 and in is money, than have a guy who's, around 80%, but, can miss the occasional 40-yard gimme. Like, to me, I would just much rather take consistency with kickers and not something I have to think about than taking a risk on, we've seen in the past, like the last kicker who was picked so high, Roberto Aguayo, was cut by the Tampa Bay Bucks before the year was over. I just think that there's a huge risk involved with taking these younger guys out straight out of college, especially. The Vikings even did that with Daniel Carlson. Like, they had him for a couple weeks. He missed a field goal in week 3. Mike Zimmer cut him. The next week, the Raiders picked him up, and he's been a fantastic kicker for the Raiders ever since. I just think
Janikowski was a pretty good pick.
Oh, he was. That's like the hope. That's about as good as it can go when you're taking a kicker high. It's definitely a risky move, but again, I think if the 49ers feel that positively about Jake Moody, then I guess it was the right move. And if it ends up panning out, there's not really much that you can fault him with, except for taking him in the 3rd round. But if they believe in him, they believe in him.
Save money on your quarterback, save money on your kicker.
Yeah.
And if you can get, if Brock Purdy is the guy they think, and if Moody is the guy that, I predict he will be, then it's like very, very, very cost effective.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, it's a great team building strategy. And, hopefully if Brock Purdy is back to where he was last year, kicker hopefully shouldn't be the end all be all anyway. And, I can tell you from personal experience, it tends to be kickers end up being incredibly important and end up taking the most important, points of your season. But
especially for a team that has struggled in the red zone, as vaunted as their offense is, it's nice to have a guy like Robbie Gould's going to come in. He's not going to miss.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Just that level of consistency from a kicker. That's what you need from a kicker, is just a level of stability and mental, like, you just feel safe every time they step on the field. And Robbie Gould absolutely was that and has been that. Jake Moody, you better be ready, because you got some big shoes to fill. And I think, it's funny enough, I do think there's going to be a lot of eyes on how Jake Moody does even in the preseason.
Yeah, NFC Offensive Rookie of the Year, Jake Moody.
Could happen. It could happen. I mean, especially if he's kicking 55+ yard field goals, like it's nothing.
Those are 2 keys, huh? The cost, and then also the length.
Yes,
that you'll get with a younger kicker.
Yeah, I mean that's the hope.
Adds a dimension.
Yeah, exactly. You don't always have to. It kind of just changes where you view your field position. You could, if you have a kicker who's capable of hitting from long distances, you could look at getting to the 40 as a successful drive. Where with Robbie Gould, you might have to get all the way down to the 30, and those 10 yards are a very, very big difference.
We're coming back with new details on Sasha's deal next. Whitey and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
It's Whitey and Watkins on Sactown Sports. It's the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa. Thursdays at 6 p.m. and Saturdays at 8 a.m. on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. Golf to Go. Thursdays at 6 p.m. and Saturdays at 8 a.m. on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Nature Wood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
Hello, Sacramento. Doug Christie here, and I have something to share. Recently, I asked myself to determine the one most indispensable thing I use to do my job, the one I couldn't do without. The winner, forget the phone, which I live on, and the video editor, which makes my life understandable. The winner was the Good Feet 3-step arch support system. Yes, the one I tell you about each week, keeps me going comfortably supported, pain relieved, and vital. So it strikes me that if Good Feet is the most important go-to tool to relieve pain or just keep me going, shouldn't you give it a try? I think so. Come to the Good Feet store today for a free, no obligation arch support fitting, then take them for a test walk. Experience the comfort, balance, and support of the Good Feet 3-step arch support system. Good Feet in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and now Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
If you're ready for some leisure in your life, let me recommend El Macero Country Club, just 15 minutes from downtown Sacramento. Play our stunning championship golf course. Practice on our manicured short game facility. Cool off in our 50-meter swimming pool. Play tennis. Enjoy social events and mouth-watering dining options after a great day of play. We're now accepting new social and golf memberships for a limited time. Visit elmacerocc.org and put some leisure back in your life at El Macero Country Club. Did you know about 1/3 of our lives is spent sleeping? Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. If we're going to spend that much time in our bedrooms, then our bedrooms ought to reflect our personalities. I remember many weekend mornings when our kids would jump into our beds trying to coax us to start our days more on their schedules than ours. Naturewood Home Furnishings' huge bedroom sale is here, and there's no better time to find the perfect accent piece for your bedroom, or even better, to start fresh by designing your bedroom to fit your lifestyle. From a new mattress and foundation to dressers to nightstands to lamps and more. Naturewood Home Furnishings will help you create a space from simple to luxurious and anything in between. Just drop by and let Naturewood's team help you envision a bedroom fit for 1/3 of your life. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings right now for this remarkable bedroom sale. Off Highway 50 at Hazel, look for the water reel.
You know what time it is. It's time to trade up to a brand new Kia at Folsom Lake Kia. Trade up to the newest technology with a low payment. Shop Folsom Lake Kia, family owned for over 20 years.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your new home for 49ers football in the 916.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Christopher Lott with your Sactown Sports headlines. The Sacramento Kings ended their summer league with a 92-84 win over the Bucks this weekend. Kings rookie Jalen Slauson led the team in scoring with 17 points to go along with 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. Kings end their summer league series with a 3-2 record. Tennessee Titans are expected to sign free agent wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. According to ESPN's Diana Rossini, it is expected to be a 2-year deal with a base salary of $12 million that could reach up to $15 million in the first year with incentives. Those are your headlines. Let's get back to Whitey and Watkins.
Before we get to the new details on Sasha's deal, I have to point this out. We tease Chris Watkins because he's just not a big Steph guy. And then Steph had such a wonderful weekend winning up at Edgewood. But it turns out Steph Curry won the Celebrity Classic at Edgewood. He shot a 72 yesterday, but with the Stableford scoring, he still won. So Steph shot a 72 yesterday, and everyone's going gaga over him for good reason. Chris Watkins shot a 63 yesterday.
Technically.
A 63?
Hey, technically. I mean, yes, I did shoot a 63. I played 18 holes, but it was a par 3 course. Like, all the holes are par 3s. I played the same course twice. So, I mean.
So what were you, like 7 over, something like that?
Yeah, it was a 27. Why are you making me do math right now, Whitey? That's not clever. Why 27?
Numbers are hard. I thought you would know how many over par you were. It was
5, and then the other one I was 4. Yeah, it's +9.
+9.
+9.
Okay.
So +9 through 18, I'll absolutely take it. I
Showed
feel
a
like
63.
yeah, whatever. I just it's a casual anecdote. It's whatever. It's just I just put my pants on one leg at a time, like you guys do. Okay.
I wish you weren't a liar.
It's just and I swear, I was very honest in my scoring. I didn't, pick that one up.
Yeah.
Oh, that one should have gone in. I'm past those days.
Oh, good.
I'm about, I would say right now I'm a bogey golfer, which is I'm very comfortable. But
it's good.
The most frustrating thing about golf is it doesn't matter what level you're at. Like my girlfriend just started learning to play. She's obviously frustrated with the game of golf. I'm frustrated with the game of golf because it's just like, you're just constantly in this endless battle of trying to one up yourself. And so it never truly feels like I want to say it doesn't feel like you're ever getting better, but you're just never overall happy with where you're at. It's always tiny room for improvement. And I guess that's the appeal for some people, but for me, it does lead to a lot of frustration, a lot of anger. And I definitely understand why I would not suggest the game for everybody.
It's very zen because you're ultimately playing against yourself. Even at the highest levels where there's competition, you're still competing to get the best out of yourself.
Absolutely. Right. And I mean, it's a very frustrating. No other sport that I have played is ever been anything like it, where it is truly like
63.
It's so much mental. I mean, it was a good day. It was a really good day. I would not play in 110 degree weather just because,
Did you get a free game at the end when you put it into the
I did not. You're trying to suggest that I did mini golf. I actually haven't mini golfed in forever. I actually feel like I would probably be a terrible mini golfer.
Not the way you're putting. I hear your putting.
That is true.
On point.
It's been on point. We've got this beautiful little putting strip here that we have in the studio, and it's just like apparently repetition, just like mindless repetition.
Christie greens, right? That's what we call it. Christie greens.
Yes, Christie greens. Exactly. Yeah. Doug has left it in here from when he was working here, and nobody else uses it except for I think Jason Ross. So I'm getting plenty of wear out of it, and it's actually been incredibly beneficial to my
Just
game.
remember what I kid about him, but the truly great Frank LaRosa says all the time: golf is supposed to be fun.
It's supposed to be. Yeah, it is supposed to be, and I'm trying to be more positive. Instead of worrying about that was more right or left than what I was aiming. It's like, like the next shot it'll be an easier one. It's just trying to take the small victories and just move along with it. But it's truly a very mental game. Like it is. Yeah. I would almost argue more mental than it is physical, just because of, when you're stepping up to the ball, all the things that are going through your head, all the YouTube videos of, stay in the cylinder. Keep your feet straight and all this XYZ. All of that stuff is playing through your head. And at the same time, you're like, just hit it. Dude, just vibe it out. Just don't think too much and just hit it. But at the same time, you have to think about everything. So,
do you think this? Well, congratulations on your another.
Thank you. It's
round.
only going to get better.
Yeah. Is this like being a good fan, or is this maybe taking it to the extreme? Emmy Nikolov, who appreciate
number one
Emmy
Sasha
watching,
fan.
Listening. Yeah,
Absolutely.
appreciate that very much.
Yeah.
Big fan of Sasha.
Huge.
And she on the YouTube chat points out around 11 p.m. Sasha finally appeared as a name on the roster on the Kings website. I guess that was last night, I guess. Yeah. So, I mean, on the one hand, wow, that's nice to know. On the other hand, it makes it seem like she's
checking every hour on the hour consistently for the past couple weeks or something.
Fans are going to fan, but is this a good fan, or is this maybe like an indication that Emmy could?
I think Emmy should take a step back at this point because it seems like it's done. It seems like it's official. That's why I think it's okay now. And, absolutely nothing wrong with loving a player and just being head over heels about him coming over to Sacramento. That's all fine and dandy. But now that it is over, I would heavily suggest he's here. There's nothing else to worry about. There's no loopholes that can happen. He's not going to fly back to Greece or anything. I think he is here to stay. We know the details of the contract. Seems all good.
Yeah. She's waiting for a media conference. We all are.
Yeah.
It'll be fun to see.
She's on it.
Get an idea what kind of sense of humor
Emmy's probably going to break the news of when the press conference is happening. I'm
Maybe
going to call
so.
that right now that she's going to tell us when it's happening.
We did know that Vezenkov and the Kings, according to reports, had agreed to a 3-year contract worth $20 million. That was July 1st. We got that information. We have more details on the structure of the contract from Michael Scott from
Michael Scott with an O.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Michael Scotto from Hoops Hype. He reported Friday, citing league sources, the Kings fully guaranteed the first 2 years of Vezenkov's contract, and they have a team option for the 25-26 NBA season, which to me sounds like, wow, those are pretty good terms for the Kings.
Great contract for the Kings. Absolutely. I mean, you have him locked down for 2 years. If he's great, fantastic. If he's not, you don't have to pick up that
1 year.
team option.
You wouldn't know anything anyway.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. Because it's going to take a year just to get comfortable and feel comfortable in his own skin and with this team. And here in the States, again, huge culture shock, all that stuff. But I mean, the fact that they have a team option on that 3rd year to pick it up if he plays well at $8 million, we're talking about a guy who I've heard described as the best basketball player not in the NBA in the world. I've heard that been thrown out there by 2 or 3 different people, mainly in EuroLeague scene. Frankie, I'm probably better than Frankie. I would give him. I've seen Emil's jump shot. I actually haven't seen.
No. I mean the 2 people that you heard it from.
Oh no! I thought you were trying to list the players better than Sasha. I was like, come on, like I'm on.
Oh
that
yeah,
list.
those guys are better than Sasha.
Yeah, Frankie and Emil are the 2 people who said it. It's been mainly EuroLeague guys, so take that with a grain of salt, I guess. But I think Sasha, if he comes over and he's able to feel comfortable and he's able to get up to 14 points per game, 15 points per game, or maybe even, crack the Kings starting rotation in the next 2 or 3 years, that's just an absolute steal. And, you're getting him until he's 30 at this point. That's heading into his prime. You're going to get the best years out of him. It's just a great deal. It's a fantastic deal for the Kings.
I could be wrong. I think the master plan ideally is that by the end of this year, that your primary front court is Vezenkov and Keegan Murray. And
I think
Harrison Barnes is filling in wherever you need him to.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the wish. I think that if they could have best case scenario season play out, I think that's truly what they want.
I don't know if they can do that yet, but they'd like to be able to.
Right, exactly. And
in which case you've got the upgrade that so many fans were clamoring for this offseason.
Absolutely. I just wonder at that point, and I'm joking here, but do the Kings extend, give Vezenkov more money because he's playing so great and, like they did with Sabonis? Like I think that their bigger point is they're getting a fantastic problem. If he's a starter, and you're only paying him $8 million per year, that is an absolute steal. And I think, to what you were saying, I think that is what they hope will happen. I don't think they can 100% put it in pen that is the goal going into the 2025 NBA season or 2024 NBA season is to have Sasha as the starter. But I think ideally they believe he has the capabilities and the potential to get to that level. And like you said, Harrison Barnes at that point can just kind of float as whatever you need, wherever you need, he can play. And that's when you get the upgrade, like you said, where, okay, Harrison's role has now been diminished. You have a guy who's clearly capable of being that starting 4, makes more sense size-wise, and maybe positionally it makes a little bit more sense to have him at the 4.
And look how cost-effective that is. You got the guy for a second-round pick.
Yeah.
Plus the, relatively speaking, the small amount that you're paying him, $20 million over 3.
Right, a room exception, which is like, you're not going to think, I don't know who has made like Trey Lyles made $8 million in his free agency this offseason. That's the money that they just signed Sasha to. If Sasha's able to exceed that, it's just such a great value buy for the Kings that that's how you increase like your team's ceiling as well. If you're getting a guy who should be getting paid $15 to $20 million and you're only paying him $8 million and you can add additional pieces, that's how you build championship rosters, is by getting just multiple value guys. And Sasha is absolutely at least, could be characterized as one of those value guys potentially in the future. Saying that, he's still got to do it. Like these are all hopes and dreams. And I think the Kings are right into hoping that Sasha can be that guy. He's got all the skills and has shown the ability. It's just, you can't officially say it until you've seen it. And we just haven't been able to see it yet.
He's got to rebound. He's got to defend. If he does, it's possible the Kings have a guy here.
Yeah.
Can we get back to a couple of stock up, stock down summer league?
Yes, we got a couple more.
Sacramento Kings.
Yes, we're going to skip out on Jordan Ford because obviously Jordan Ford, massive stock up. We'll go back. We will do. We'll start off with Neemias Queta, a guy who I think is probably the most polarizing figure in this summer league.
Stock down. I don't know that he's done anything more than what you thought he was, and you want to see a little more out of him. Plus, he got hurt. You've got, maybe for one of the back end of the roster spots, but I think, unfortunately, stock down. And him getting hurt really hurt his stock, in my opinion.
I think I agree with you completely, everything you said, and I just think that there's other options available that, don't have to be Neemias Queta. I think that maybe we've gotten too attached to the guy Neemias Queta, and the reality is there's tons of guys who can be as productive as Neemias Queta can. Let's do Colby Jones, second-round pick. Should have been first-round talent, some argue. How are you feeling about Colby Jones?
Stock up. Not way up, but I think, trending in the right direction.
Yeah.
I think everybody has to be pleased that they brought him in, and he's playing a couple different positions, struggling with some of it.
Yeah.
But I thought he was better than solid.
Yeah,
Summer league.
I would say tremors. You're seeing slight increase there. I agree. Like there's nothing
trending upward.
Yeah, trending. There you go. We'll say trending up. I agree with you. He showed some ability, didn't blow me away by any means, but I think
chance to be a rotational player.
Exactly. Exactly.
Decent
a chance to do it.
Yeah.
We'll do
not starter, nowhere near him.
How about Jalen Slauson as well? 56th pick. Where are you feeling about Jalen Slauson?
Well, there's a slight uptick after last game.
Sure.
Given the quality of the opponent on that last game, in terms of making the Kings roster, stock down, but as far as being a future asset, maybe playing the G League and then maybe somebody you keep an eye on. Trending in the right direction. But overall, I don't think he's an NBA guy yet.
Yeah, I
just based on the few games we've seen.
Yeah, I'd probably hold the stock. I don't think there's anything to necessarily give up on. He didn't show me anything that's like, I'm excited to see Jalen Slauson's progression throughout this year. I think it's going to be a
really
slow
impressive
burn
in the last game.
Yeah, it was.
Passes,
His ability to get to the line as well.
Basically running the offense through him, which was impressive.
Yeah, exactly. That's something that you can see for most guys, especially first couple games in an NBA setting. Last one here, Keon Ellis. Do you have any feelings on Keon Ellis? Stock up, stock down.
Give you the answer. Coming right back.
Okay.
We'll come back with the answer on Keon Ellis. Also, why Kyle Shanahan never throws a Hail Mary at the end of the first half. It's because he doesn't want his daddy to get mad at him. Interesting story next. Whitey and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Whitey and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Need your Niners fix? Sactown Sports has you covered.
I'm not going to lie to you guys. I think Trey looks significantly better than he did last year. I really do. I think his confidence is there. I think that he's throwing really good passes. Just watching him, he just looks so much more comfortable and confident in the pocket, and I really appreciate that from him, from all the work that he's put into it. He just looks like he's having fun, because when he's out there having a good time, it definitely brings up everyone around him.
Get all your 49ers coverage leading into the 2023 season at Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave, and I recognize, just like my friends at American Energy Heat and Air, that your time is important. And that's why shopping for a new air conditioner is now easier with American Energy Heat and Air's online quoting tool. All you have to do is go to AmericanEnergyAir.com and get an instant quote right now. It'll help you determine what system you're going to need to get. It'll provide the best pricing options, all from the comfort of your home without having to have somebody come to your home. You know how annoying that is? They come in and everybody there is so sweet and nice, but how much better is it to be able to get it on demand? Visit AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out how easy it can be. Or if you want to give them a call and talk through what your needs are, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
At your desk, on your phone, in the car.
Whitey and Watkins
on Sactown Sports.
Before we get to Keon Ellis, stock up, stock down, this from Jeff Passan on Twitter. Jeff Passan, ESPN, MLB insider, and of course he's getting ready for a busy trade deadline season. He just tweeted, "Sorry I haven't been posting lately. During cleanup after a big storm in KC," again, this is Jeff Passan tweeting this, "a large tree limb decided to fall and crush me. The good news, I still have use of my arms, legs, and Twitter fingers. The bad news, I have a broken back. The vertebra fracture will heal. I will be better. I'm hoping the pain subsides between now and the trade deadline. The painkiller-fueled tweets could be a fun time. So that's terrible.
What?
Obviously, could have been a lot worse, but Jeff Passan, MLB insider, had a tree limb fall on him and broke one of the vertebrae in his back, or at least one. Yeah.
I mean, that's terrible. I mean, that's
Yes.
that's absolutely horrifying. That's hopefully speedy recovery out to Jeff, because that's, I mean, like, especially with the storms we had around New Year's, trees were falling left to right here in Sacramento. I had a car in my neighborhood get absolutely
Aren't you in an area where there's tons of huge trees?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. There's tons of trees. There's a massive park that's got tons of trees, and tons of trees in the park fell over. And
My daughter had a huge tree limb that fell and broke
scary.
her car.
It's really
in the
scary.
storms,
And especially when things are, when there is a storm, you can't just call arborists and say, "Hey, a tree's falling. Can you come cut it?" Because they're like, "Get in line, buddy." Like, so is everybody else. And there's just a order of operations that happens in that sense. That's terrifying. Poor Jeff Passan.
Could be
speedy
so
recovery.
much worse.
I hope he can still, tweet out breaking news, because it seems like Shohei could potentially be on the block. So he's definitely going to be the one who wants to break that news, and he's not going to be able to do it if he's hopped up on painkillers.
Yeah, wasn't his tweet breaking my back?
Breaking my back. Made me think of there's a great Mike Tyson when he breaks his back, and he's like, I broke my back. He's like, "What? My back is broken." And he's like, "What? Your back is broken? Spinal." That's all he says. Incredible. One of the best Mike Tyson quotes. But yeah, speedy recovery, Jeff Passan. Thinking about you, Jeff.
Tying up a loose end here. I know you asked me about
Yes.
Keon
Ellis.
Stock up.
Stock up. How about
Yeah.
that? Yes.
Yeah.
I think Keon can actually maybe make the NBA roster this year. He's he signed one of the two-way deals. He's just so incredibly good. Sometimes I just watch Keon Ellis on defense, and it's just incredible. It's just like, how is this guy not in the NBA? He would be, no joke, not a hyperbole, he would be a top 10% of defender in the NBA. He is so good already on defense. It's just the offense that's a question for him.
And I thought the jump shot looked really smooth.
Yeah,
in
he's
Summer Lane. Oh, it's Summer Lane.
right. But he's just got to, that's
Yeah.
all he's going to be asked to do is just catch and shoot. Keon Ellis will not be putting the ball down on the floor much. I would imagine if he's going to play the two guard, probably just stand in the corner and hit threes. And I think he could do it at a 36 to 37% clip. I would love to see what Keon Ellis does with extended NBA minutes. It's kind of more just about getting his body right, because he is still pretty rail thin.
Mm-hmm.
I like him, though. Stock up.
Yeah. So we know Mike Brown has a soft spot for guys who play defense.
Very true.
Make a few shots.
Yeah.
Hello.
I mean, he could leapfrog Kessler Edwards. I think he is a better defender than Kessler Edwards, 100%. It's just a matter of if they believe in his offense more.
Are those two guys the answer to the question that I know I've been asking? Where is the improved defense going to come from? Are they the answer?
I guess, but those are
Only
also
if they
like
can play.
Exactly. Those are the 12th guys on the roster, 11th and 15th guys on the roster. It's going to be tough for those guys to get enough minutes to be impactful. And I don't know if their offense on either of those guys is good enough to justify playing them 20 minutes in a given game. I think maybe, you can match them up. Kessler Edwards played tons of minutes against Devin Booker when the Kings played the Suns. So maybe in very specific matchups, but
Are you
I just
saying
don't think
Keon Ellis is a better defender than Off Night? It sounds like you're almost going there in your mind.
I would not say he's as tenacious, but he has better tools, I would say. I mean, with his wingspan and his ability to play the passing lanes, Davion's just really, really small. And Davion's defense is clearly incredible and like something special, but it's just very limiting. You can't put Davion Mitchell on anybody else except for a point guard. That's his limitation. I mean, he is a fantastic defender, one of the best in the NBA. It's just he doesn't have the positional versatility to really make it as impactful. So, yes, it's great that you can put him in a 7-game series on Stephen Curry and make Steph's life really difficult. But, again, when he's going against guys like Dennis Schroeder or – maybe in a series against Jamal Murray, that would have had a good impact. But, if he's going to have to just guard a point guard who's not the other team's best player, his impact doesn't quite hit the same.
All right. So there we go. That's stock up, stock down for now. Overall, I think the Kings have to feel pretty good to just good, like B+ for their summer league.
Yeah, absolutely. Their guys didn't look bad. They might have found a good piece in Jordan Ford. The Neemias Queta thing, I think you would like to ideally see it work out better. But, all in all, I think you have to feel, like you said, pretty good about how the summer league team performed in relation to how it affects your.
That's the way the whole off season's been for the Kings, right? Yeah. It's been, pretty good
to B+, maybe if you're really tapped in.
Which is a little unsettling for people that were hoping for no more. This is their chance. They're ahead of schedule. Make the big splashy move.
Yes.
They're not doing that.
No, for sure. But, I think Monty would argue that, hey, a B+ is a whole lot better than a C-. And I think that there could be potential that maybe not on the surface if they bring in Kyle Kuzma, Jeremy Grant, whoever your guy is, but there's potential that the actual playing out would have been not great. And I think the Kings just did a great job of making sure and at the same time building upon what they had last year.
I don't know. I haven't heard, but I'll bet you they could have had a shot at Kuzma because we talked Friday about how his contract ultimately, if you take out the incentives that he wasn't going to reach,
right?
It was like 3 for 90 or something like that. They could have given him that.
I think they could have. It was just, I think it was less than that. It was 4 for 90, I think. Because
you're right.
Because that would have been 30 million.
Yeah.
I think they could have.
3 for 90 would have been too much.
That would have been too much, right?
See, there you are. Your math skills.
My math is okay. Yeah.
Thank
See,
you. Yes.
It's not terrible. Just don't ask me specifics. I think they could have if they really, really truthfully believed that this is the missing piece to take us to a championship. I just don't think Kyle Kuzma was that big of a calculus changer. Like, yes, he's really good on offense. Yes, he can bring some stuff that the Kings don't have.
I agree.
But with the financial tie-up that it might have been, and I don't know because I'm not a cap expert, but I know that would have been a good chunk of change on the Kings cap. I just don't know if that would have been the move that would have been, okay, this now puts us in a certain stratosphere that we just couldn't attain before.
Agree.
I think that they're still in a position where they can get better still with the roster they have now. They have tons of movable contracts after all those deadlines are up that you can move guys who you just signed. They've got tons of different options to get better later on. It's just, it might be a little bit of steadying the ship for a couple months until the trade deadline.
Never wanted Kuzma. And I don't think they really did. I don't know if we'll ever find out. I think they could have had him if they wanted him.
I think they kicked the tires, but I don't think they liked the dollar figure. I think it really came down to the fact that, and, frankly, also, Harrison Barnes was just such a good value deal that it's just, you couldn't turn that down and then just go and sign Kuzma to a big deal because at the end of the day, Barnes at that number is so much better than paying Kuzma what might have been market value.
Agree. All right, coming up as promised, why Kyle Shanahan never throws Hail Marys at the end of the half. And another reason why I never want Kirk Cousins on my team. Those are next year. Whitey and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Whitey
and Watkins
on Sactown Sports. It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
You should. Were you
Tell me why they're giving refs more power. Fox don't want it that way.
He's on fire.
He was on Twitter last night.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on Sactown Sports.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard. Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun. So you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
Now try Babbel free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
The PGA Club fitters at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio know that golf should be fun. They also know that players of all abilities will hit the ball farther and straighter, play better golf, shoot lower scores, and have more fun if they get fitted before they purchase golf clubs. Hagen Oaks delivers the same technology and major brands used to fit PGA and LPGA professionals. See how the game can be even more fun. Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
Y'all ready to do it again, Sacramento? Country in the Park 2 is coming to Heart Health Park at Cal Expo Saturday, September 9th. With Cole Swindell, Chris Jansen, Dylan Scott,
and more. Plus, a mechanical bull, line dancing saloon, and all the food. Tickets start at $40 or grab your Coors Light Y'all Access passes for $125. For more info, visit SactownSports.com. Country in the Park 2, brought to you by Hoblet Dodge, E2 Family Winery, and Hyatt Vacation Club.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail. The ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small stuff. Because you know the tiniest thing can make the biggest difference when it comes to keeping business moving. We get it. We're the same way, offering access to product experts to help you quickly and easily find what you need. So whatever your industry, you know you're always getting professional-grade products. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Delivery's at the door. Can someone please unlock?
It's been an eventful afternoon with a spike in bookings at Claudia's event space.
We'd love to host Mermaid Fest.
She was already planning on having more event planners on hand.
500? That's a lot of tails.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates, and you can schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from the Indeed dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey kids, it's Carmichael Dave from my good friends at Fire Wings, the perfect fast casual eating establishment for the entire family. A great place to enjoy all the ball games from all around the country with 21 delicious flavors to choose from. Bone in, bone out. For more convenience, order online. Go to firewings.com, find a location near you, grab that order online, and tell them Carmichael Dave sent you. Fire Wings, hey, just wing it.
At Ashton & Price, we get injury victims to yes. Experience, yes. Ashton & Price has been around for over 25 years. No more insurance companies? Yes. Our clients focus on getting better, and we handle all the rest. Results? Yes. We've collected over $100 million for injury victims. No fee until we win? Yes. Our clients pay nothing until we win. Ashton & Price, the best at getting to yes. Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Chris Rillard with your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings ended their summer league with a 92-84 win over the Bucks. Kings rookie Jalen Slauson led the team in scoring with 17 points to go along with 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. Kings end their summer league series with a 3-2 record. The Tennessee Titans are expected to sign free agent wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. According to ESPN's Diana Rossini, it is expected to be a 2-year deal with a base salary of $12 million that could reach up to $15 million in the first year with incentives. Those are your headlines. Let's get back to Whitey and Watkins.
I don't know if it's true that Kyle Shanahan's idea of the perfect quarterback is Kirk Cousins. If it is, I disagree with him.
That's what I keep hearing.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much.
That's from Quarterback on
Yes.
Netflix.
Oh, so tremendous. I just finished it this weekend.
I confess I haven't seen it. People are raving about it.
Gotta watch it. You have to watch it. If you like football, even if you just like football a little, especially if you have any connection to any of the 3 quarterbacks or the 3 teams, it's a must watch. It really is must watch. I hate to give the NFL credit because they already have more than enough popularity and they don't need my help, with propaganda, but Quarterback is definitely worth the time. It's only 8 episodes, quick watch, and every episode has something in it that's especially from Kirk Cousins.
He is definitely a different
He's
cat.
the star, man. He is the star of the show.
I have another example of that here in just a moment, which I think maybe you saw this on Quarterback Series.
I did.
Okay. First, though, Kyle Shanahan. 49er fans get frustrated sometimes at the end of a half. They think Kyle Shanahan, he needs to be more aggressive.
Right.
Why doesn't he take shots? Like, for example, why doesn't he throw a Hail Mary on the final play before halftime? Kyle Shanahan has explained this on the Athletics, the Play Callers podcast. He says, my dad, that's Mike Shanahan, would get mad at me every second quarter when I'd call a Hail Mary from the 50-yard line. Shanahan became an offensive coordinator in 2008 with the Texans, and he would often call for the play in the closing seconds of the second quarter as a young coach, and he was a coordinator for his dad. He says, I've called plays long enough, Mike said to Kyle early in his career. Do you know what it does to a quarterback when he comes out in the third quarter and he has 2 picks up on that scoreboard instead of 1?
Okay. I guess.
Kyle Shanahan said at first, he's like, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
5 years later, I'm not calling that Hail Mary. That just messed up my quarterback. He had 2 picks that weren't his fault. Then he threw a third on a Hail Mary, and now I can't get him to throw the ball in the second half. Oh, man, my dad was right. He knew what he was talking about. I never thought of that before.
Yeah, I haven't either. It's kind of one of those things where I can't tell if you're overanalyzing or if you've actually perfectly found something there. And I think
49er fans go nuts, and maybe you're one of them.
Right.
At the end of half, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Take a shot. And they will not do it.
It's one of those things where it's just like, it's just mental. Like, I guess, I mean, it's less stakes in the NBA, but like some players don't like to take shots at the end of halftime as the buzzer's going on or at the end of quarters because it messes up their field goal percentage. That's probably more of a contractual thing, but I could see how, especially as a quarterback, when you're judged off of turnovers and touchdown to interception ratios and all of these things, if you're Kirk Cousins or, anybody who's kind of talked about in a negative light, interceptions are the first thing that people go to when it's like, this guy just can't take care of the ball. He's a liability, XYZ. And if 4 of those interceptions, 4 of your 14 are off of Hail Marys at the end of halves,
yeah,
like that's just something that's easily eliminated. And mentally, I could see how it would play a factor for a quarterback. Maybe not necessarily every throw, but maybe instead of making a really tight window throw, they're like, I can't get 3 picks in 3 quarters, or else, especially if you're a fringe guy, you might get pulled, or maybe it could be your last week at quarterback, or it's just not a good look, honestly.
It sounds like this is something he's been through with more than just one guy. So
Sure,
it's not like
right.
Jimmy or whomever.
Right.
Sounds
Matt
like he's
Ryan.
realized, wow, that really affects guys.
Yeah.
And let's say you're the quarterback, Chris Watkins. If you throw 3 interceptions, well, Skip Bayless the next day is not going to say, well, Watkins threw 3 picks, but one of them was at the end of the half.
Right.
No, he's going to say he threw 3 interceptions.
Right, exactly. It's what looks at the end of the day. Like, if you threw 3 picks, you threw 3 picks. Like,
I would have never thought of that.
I don't think I would have either. Like, it's just not, especially just the mentality. Like, that's way more psychology than actual football. Like, actual football would tell you next play mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about it. Brush it off. Don't worry about the numbers. All that matters is the win. But the reality is these guys are humans. They do think about these things. They think about emotions. They think about their contract, especially heading into halftime. I mean, that's the element I really didn't think is you have the time to kind of stew on it and be like, all right, I have 2 picks now. I kind of have to approach this second half differently. Whereas, I mean, it is, because what is the Hail Mary proposition? It's a 1%, maybe even less, that you'll actually get the score.
Or you get
It's
pass
really not
interference,
worth-
you get a field goal.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it's not worth the mental, it's not worth the positive of it.
Who playing right now, an active quarterback, do you think that would bother the least? And we don't really have any
Patrick
way of knowing.
Mahomes.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. He's got nothing. I mean, what's an extra interception for Patrick Mahomes? No one is going to say Patrick Mahomes had 4 picks last. It's just, it's not going to change how you view Patrick Mahomes, and Patrick Mahomes more than anybody understands that. And that's kind of something I did get from quarterback is the dude just is a supreme athlete. He believes in himself more than anybody else. And he just is really, really cocky and kind of all the best ways. He just knows he's good, and he knows exactly how good he is.
I would also suggest maybe Geno Smith.
Why is that?
Just because I think at this point he's like, I'm
Sure, he's
playing
got nothing.
quarterback. I just
House
want to
money,
win.
right?
I don't
Yeah.
care. People are going to say I stink no matter what.
Right.
When we win,
Right.
then it won't matter what they say. And if this is going to help us win, I'll do it.
Right. Geno has had a very interesting career, because you could put that same thing to Kirk Cousins, but I think Kirk would care a lot because people will continue to talk about him and it'll bring down his legacy. Geno Smith is at this point kind of playing with house money. Like, he's already been a backup for 8 years or whatever it's been. He's been the starter, been a backup, and now is back to a starter. What is an extra interception? Yeah, like you said, he's just trying to win games.
I would guess. Yeah. By the way, there's somebody who knows what they're talking about typically who says that Geno and the Seahawks are going to win the NFC West this year. We have that coming up top of the hour. But for now, speaking of caring, does Kirk Cousins care?
Oh, Kirk! Ah! He cares. He definitely cares. He cares a lot.
Kirk Cousins says, if we're on a Sunday to Sunday schedule, unlike most quarterbacks, I choose to take Tuesday entirely off.
Yeah.
About 8 years ago, I made the decision that I'm going to truly rest for 24 hours a week during the season. I think at first it threw the coaches off a little bit. wait a minute, our starting quarterback's not going to be in the building all day on Tuesday. We're not even going to see him. But it's just something that I felt was important. On Tuesday, I'll do anything that isn't football.
Yeah.
End quote.
Yeah, no,
During the season.
That was in quarterback. It's like it is a feature where about 5 minutes they talk about Kirk and him taking Tuesdays off. I am very surprised that coaches let him do it, but I guess that's the perk of being a quarterback is, the coaches kind of have to inherently trust you, especially if you've built up a certain level of trust. It's not something that I think receivers or running backs or linemen or any other position could do, but I get it. I'm just very surprised that the coaches allow it. I mean, everybody, and in that day, Kirk shows he takes his kids to school. His wife is like, this is really the only day that I get to hang out with my husband, especially during the season.
Yeah. Loads his kids into the car for preschool, takes a walk with his wife, answers fan mail, goes to the bookstore. Apparently never studies film of the upcoming opponent or self-scouts his own film or does anything whatsoever aimed at preparing for the next game on Tuesday. Probably there's some, I don't know, union regulation or something where he could say, I don't have to do that and I'm not gonna. And the coaches realize that and figure it's a wasted energy. That's if we're going to have him on the team, that's part of the program.
Right.
But again, I don't want that guy. I don't want him to be my quarterback. Bless him. I don't want you on my team.
I think it would be different if we're talking about like Jamarcus Russell or, Kyler Murray, somebody who had to have an hour of film study in his contract. Kirk Cousins is going to show up on Sunday and he's going to be ready. Kirk's not the kind of guy who would show up and just wing it and be like, oh, I probably should have been studying on Tuesday, but me and my wife got really into Frasier late and I just couldn't turn it off. Like he's going to be ready on Tuesday. Like Tuesday is his day off because he spends every other waking second thinking about football and just hyper fixating. I've talked about it before. If you watch the Netflix series, you'll agree with me. He's just a weird dude. And he's just a perfectionist, thinks everything to a T and just isn't really human. He's very robotic. And I think that is just kind of his day to try and be normal. And again, all that's important is on Sunday, he's ready to go. So I don't think too much of it, but I could see how, you could have an issue with it.
Here's a quote. Tell me who you think said this.
Okay.
Quote, what are you willing to do and what are you willing to give up to be the best you can be? You only have so much energy and the clock ticks on all of us. If you're going to compete against me, you better be willing to give up your life because I'm giving up mine, end quote.
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea.
Tom Brady.
Oh, geez. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's fair. I mean, Tom Brady, that sounds like a Tom Brady quote now that I know. Like you do that's the kind of guy who quite literally prepares every single day, every single hour is used to maximize his body, make sure he's ready to go. I mean, do we really want to use Tom Brady as the example for
he's a quarterback?
Also not a very normal guy, very, very well established, kissing his son on the mouth and just doing weird things like, like fixing his body and putting himself through weird exercises to make sure that he's used to, taking hits. And, the guy is 45 years old and still playing quarterback. The way that he prepares is much different than I think every other quarterback in the history of the league has ever prepared.
I would say Kirk, look. And if that's his thing and you're going to have him on your team, then you deal with that. But look, you can find parts of each day maybe where you take that break, however you do that. But during the season, one day where you're not doing anything, that doesn't help us win. I understand the importance of balance, but during the season, a day off for my quarterback, oh, man.
I don't know. I think
unacceptable.
I think that we would be surprised that maybe Tuesday's a walkthroughs anyway. Something tells me that Tuesday is also a very specific
off day typically.
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
I know that.
And the way he was getting thrown around last season,
I'm telling you,
maybe he needs a day off.
I'm telling you, man, this fool was hit more than any other quarterback in the league last year. He was getting tossed around like a rag doll.
You can't give me an hour of looking at film of the upcoming game.
He probably has PTSD. He's like, oh man, these guys are gonna throw me around.
Something tells me, I'm sure at nighttime, like when he's in bed by 8:30.
He said, no, on Tuesdays, nothing. No football. None.
Hey, Dad,
Want to play Madden? No football.
He seems to read his kid the Sports Illustrated Book of Why a lot.
Really?
Yeah, I think he read it twice in that series.
Yeah.
Very
I
interesting.
don't know what that is, but I do know that coming up, LeBron is changing his number again.
Oh, jeez.
Next, Whitey and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
It's Whitey and Watkins on Sactown Sports. The Kings are running it back.
Hammers it off the dribble against Gobert, and he was fouled. Oh, my, what a take that time by Domantas Sabonis. Eludes Gobert. That's strong. Two-hand flush off the dribble, thrown down by Trey Lyles.
And welcoming some new faces.
Yes. Toby Jones with 2 more.
Well, they go to Duarte in the corner for 3, and he rains it down.
Keep it locked on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com for the latest Kings news.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
That's Mike saying good morning. It's the best he can do right now. Yeah, not a cloud in the sky. What Mike could use is a fresh start. And Irish Spring Body Wash. The fresh scent of Irish Spring and those sensational Irish Spring suds are just the reset Mike needs. Now he's ready
to go to work.
It's Sunday. Irish Spring. When the spring hits you, you're ready. Pick up Irish Spring at Walmart today.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BC. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network. Well, when the A's took the shortstop Jacob Wilson from Grand Canyon in the first round of this year's draft, it meant the A's had drafted a shortstop from Thousand Oaks High in 2 of the last 3 first rounds, going back to 21 when the A's took Max Muncy. And now Wilson, coached by his dad, the former big leaguer Jack Wilson, in high school, taken by the A's 6th overall. Ken Korak here, introducing you to the Xfinity 10G network. Xfinity is undergoing a multi-year network evolution, giving you a powerful connection today while building toward a faster, more reliable tomorrow. The Xfinity 10G network gives you the fastest internet with even faster speeds rolling out all the time. You also get a consistent and reliable connection when everyone's online, even during peak hours. That's a home run. If you want to learn more, go online at xfinity.com/10G.
So I'm a public school teacher and I'm on my feet all day long. That would be on concrete. The pain would like shoot up my heels and just increased from the bottom of my feet up. Then my back started hurting. So my husband and I were driving and I went, oh, look, there's a Good Feet store. I'm greeted by this gal named Mercy. That was a perfect name for her. And the cool thing about the Good Feet store is that you're able to try before you buy. I had free fittings. She was able to fit me with special arch supports. And so I walked around in the store. Within 30 minutes, I started sobbing because I had no pain. Well, if your feet are hurting, do something about it. You don't have to grin and bear it. You need to go to the Good Feet store and get some arch supports. I'm Deidre, and that's my Good Feet story.
See how they work for you with a free fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
At your desk, on your phone, in the car.
Whitey and Watkins
on Sactown Sports.
Those of you watching on YouTube, make sure you stay with us when we go to our next commercial break. We're going to be live and local on YouTube.
We stay live.
Yeah.
We stay local, even through the breaks. Excited for always fun to chat with the YouTube chat during that break. And today the chat is pretty active, so should be a good conversation here in about 10 minutes.
Very, very active. However, one of the most popular topics is the Backstreet Boys. So.
Yes, right. I think it has to do with that promo that of Jay Mars singing that wonderful song. I want it that way is Backstreet Boys, I believe.
Yes,
my girlfriend
it
would
is.
kill me for not knowing that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think I know that. Yeah,
Yes.
Backstreet Boys.
You got it.
There we go. Nailed
You
it.
got
I think
it.
I think
So-
we solved the biggest problem in the
Chris Watkins singing Backstreet Boys, but only for those of you during the next
Yes,
commercial break
exactly.
on
Stay tuned.
YouTube.
You
Stay
heard it here
tuned
first.
for that. This was something that was a little troubling. Jamal Crawford, he's kind of an up-and-coming analyst.
He
which
is,
I
yeah.
like.
He did one of the Kings games. I thought he was really good.
Yeah, I think he is really good. Obviously, he knows the game inside and out.
Right.
But at NBA.com, he had Jamal Crawford's mailbag. One of the questions was, who's the most improved team? And he said, well, if you go from the start of last season to right now, so the start of last season to right now, he said the most improved team is the Los Angeles Lakers, which I know where he's going because remember, start of last year, they were really bad.
Sure.
They were a joke.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ended up in the conference finals.
I don't know if the Lakers talent-wise are significantly better, though. I think it's just the fit is a whole lot better. And I don't know if that necessarily means, like, if that's a justifiable reason to give them that award. Like, I would probably rather give it, like, I mean, Phoenix makes a whole lot more sense, obviously. I mean, if we're talking improvement from the beginning of last year, like, they've added Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal to their lineup since the start of last season.
And Bol Bol.
Yeah, and Bol Bol, sure.
Mhm.
And Yuta Watanabe, while we're just listing random bench guys, I guess.
That's right.
The Bol Bol thing is really interesting. It's like, is there a player, like, is there always somebody like this where it seems like when he's a free agent, every fan base is like, we got to get Bol Bol. We got to get Bol Bol. And then he ends up playing like 20 games for your team, barely. I guess Mo Bamba is kind of similar to that as well. Maybe it's just these really big, tall, freakishly guys like fans just really, really love, but the actual perception around the league is just completely polar opposite.
Mhm.
Makes me think of like Imani Bates. Like, is he going to be somebody like that? I don't know. That's just where my mind went earlier.
I don't know. Imani Bates playing really well, as you know, probably better than I because
Sure.
you're a big Imani Bates guy.
Yes.
Emoji Bates, some have called him accidentally on documents. But, I mean, he's having a really impactful summer league.
He has. No, I've been really impressed with that. I shouldn't say impressed, but I did. If you remember, I kind of fell off the Imani Bates hype train
You
at
did.
the last
I
second.
thought I talked you off of it, and I felt bad.
Literally got off the train at
Yeah.
the very last stop before
And
he
you're
reached
like,
the
I am
destination.
out of here.
And I felt kind of. I mean, I felt right in doing it. It was a complete 180 because I was all in on the Imani Bates train, but I just didn't think he would be able. I didn't think he'd be able to really play team basketball. I thought that was going to be the biggest problem. Was it's going to be a lot of isolation. I thought it was going to be a lot of 5 for 16 kind of nights, but he has 20 points. And, you know, especially in the game that he had, I don't know if it was yesterday or on Saturday, but to put them into the summer league championship game, he had 20 points on 13 shots, 8 of 13, 4 or 5 from 3. I was like, okay, this is something that I could actually, you know, if he's going to be this efficient, this is how you're an NBA player. And I don't know. I just wonder what his career is going to look like because, you know, I compared him to a guy like Michael Porter Jr., but I think Michael Porter Jr. had the benefit, or I guess you could call it a benefit, an unintended benefit with his back injury of sitting for 2 years and letting his body be ready for NBA. I don't think Imani Bates is going to have that luxury, and Bol Bol also didn't have that luxury as well. I just wonder how, you know, what he's going to look like in 2 or 3 years or what his role is going to be.
Yeah, Phoenix, fascinated to watch. Who's going to run point? Oh, they'll share point guard responsibilities. We know Devin Booker has done it in the past. He's probably better off the ball, but he can. Beal is probably a better playmaker than he gets credit for. But obviously a lot of moving parts.
Right.
And even if it works, it's going to take some time for that to come together.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think
But their owner says we're going to win at everything we do. So
that is true.
Clearly they are.
Just not summer league. I mean, he's off to a bad start, but I think my pick would have been Phoenix if I'm Jamal Crawford, which we're close, but I would have gone Phoenix, not LA.
Meanwhile, there's this on LeBron. In a nod to Bill Russell, LeBron will change his uniform number from 6 back to 23 for the Lakers this season.
What?
Rich Paul of Clutch Sports says
Never
it's
heard of
LeBron's decision. He chose to out of respect for Bill Russell. Because I wondered at the time when he switched to Bill Russell, because it's like, oh, we should retire 23.
Right, because of
it's Jordan, so I'm going to take 6. It's like, well, what about, isn't that kind of then insulting to Bill Russell? I mean,
Yeah.
when he did that At the time,
right?
I wondered.
Yeah, that was in Miami. Yeah, when he initially went to 6, it was like, okay, but there's other guys who have been 6. It's like, no, but that's honoring their legacy, and he's gone back and forth on this a lot. I think LeBron should just say he wants to change numbers. I think he should stop trying to put meaning behind it because, yeah, he keeps just contradicting himself.
He always finds a way to stay in the conversation, doesn't he?
Sure does, man.
LeBron first wore number 6 in international competition for Team USA, later wore it for the 4 seasons he played for the Heat, as the organization had already retired 23 in honor of Michael Jordan. That's right, the Heat.
Interesting.
He went back to 23 from 2014 to 2021, his second stint in Cleveland, plus his first 3 seasons in LA, then wore 6 again his past 2 seasons for the Lakers. And I think he wanted to change it last year, but it was too late.
Right. Yes. Yeah, that was
Russell passed.
Yes, exactly. So I guess, yeah, LeBron has found himself back in the news for a random story. I'm a big numbers guy. I would normally care about things like this, but this is much to do about nothing. And
he's just trying to get 2 different numbers retired by somebody. So that's one of the things he can say. I'm one of the few people that has 2 different numbers retired.
Whitey Gleason, you're one of the smartest men I've ever ran into. Absolutely. That's exactly what this is. Kobe did the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, Kobe didn't intentionally do the same thing, but I think LeBron saw what happened with Kobe and he's like, that's cool. I want both of these numbers.
All right, stick around if you're watching on YouTube, and we're coming right back with Louis Riddick says, who's going to win the NFC West? This is an outrage. It's next. Whitey and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Cool.
I want it. Which songs are you gonna be singing?
I will not be singing any songs. I'm sorry for the fake tease. I will not be singing.
I was under the impression there would be Backstreet Boys songs, and you would be singing them.
No, that is incorrect. I cannot sing. I am tone deaf. Never have ever been able to sing anything. Do you have a go-to karaoke song?
I've never done karaoke.
What?
I think I would love to, but Chris? I've never actually done it.
I usually go with like a 90s R&B like type of.
Ooh, okay. Like any particular artist or group?
Boyz II Men, Genuine.
Have you gone with Sean Cunningham? Sean is a massive, massive karaoke fan.
Really?
Yes. Do you know what his go-to song is?
His go-to song is Creep by Radiohead.
Okay. That's incredible.
Really brings the mood down.
I know. Yeah. I don't think I've ever actually done karaoke, especially not in like the past 10 years. Maybe did it in high school once. It's a little bit, I don't like all the eyes on me. It's just a little bit too much attention. And then you're singing on top of that. It would probably be Confessions Part 2 by Usher if I had to pick one. Great song.
Well, this is a perfect chance for you to try it out. Judgment-free zone.
Oh, no. No.
Am I right?
I will not have this cut onto Twitter later today. That will not happen.
No, that one. We wouldn't do that.
No, absolutely not.
I've also been known to do Alanis Morissette from time to
time.
Oh, which one?
Fantastic.
What song?
Let me guess. Not You Ought to Know. So it'd be
the other one.
No. That's exactly it.
Oh, it's You Ought to Know.
You Ought to Know.
You Ought to Know?
Because I want to get the you.
That is maybe my favorite. There's obviously a lot of great scenes from The Office, but Kevin doing that, you.
Just how intense he's doing it.
You ought to know. Great song. Fantastic song. Alanis Morissette, big fan. She had an HBO documentary I watched like a year or so ago. It's actually pretty decent. It's like a behind the music kind of thing. Pretty decent, can't lie.
I used to, way back when that song was out in 1990 whatever, we did a parody song, Rise Guys, You Oughta Dough, and it was Homer Simpson, You Oughta Dough. It was yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, and we had another one, hand in pocket. I got one hand in my pocket.
Oh yes,
and hand on donut. Yeah, and I got one hand on my donut, and the other hand's on my other donut. And we were doing we had a band and we played.
What?
Yeah. And the station had a festival with real bands.
Yeah.
And they said, all right, you guys can play. It's like, what? Yeah, your band's going to play. So we're playing that song. And I'll never forget this. There were people there was a mosh pit.
What?
And people were mouthing the words to Hand on Donut. And
what?
Yes. I was like, what are you doing?
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's like some old school radio stuff that just never happens anymore.
It shouldn't have happened then.
No, it probably shouldn't have. Like, I don't know who gave that okay. There's no way you guys, you did. I guess you just couldn't put a DJ up there for 5 or 10 minutes.
It was fun and everything.
I'm sure.
Like, I wanted to stop and go, you shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
What's wrong
Were
with
you lead singer?
Yeah. Well, for
right? Like, or do you just not? You're just stone cold
well,
Steph Curry.
It's different when you're doing like stupid characters because you're just doing a
Sure.
stupid character. Where if you're singing, it's I mean, because I don't really know how to sing.
I guess maybe I have stage fright and I just never had it diagnosed, but that would just give me a lot of like nerves, anxiety.
Oh,
yeah.
it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Especially when, we're not a real band.
Right, exactly. You're not doing rehearsals or anything. Did you rehearse?
Oh, yeah. A lot.
Oh, my God.
Not that it helped.
Was it a legit band or just like some of your friends you guys knew?
It was good. We had a real band. We had a real bass player. Ray helps. It was really good.
Ward says he has that album. The Rise Guys.
Apologies because we did not get to hear Chris Watkins singing any Backstreet Boys. That's on me. I was under the mistaken impression you were going to. It was about to happen,
but then we came back from break, so I just couldn't. So sorry. Maybe next time.
Yeah. Karaoke with your girlfriend. Your girlfriend's a real
she's a real singer. Yeah.
So
she doesn't karaoke though because she's a real singer. Yeah. She says that like it's kind of awkward because karaoke is kind of meant to be like this fun. I mean, she can do it, but it's just people are always like, you should go up. You actually sing. Go do karaoke, and then it's like
I get it.
It's kind of
that's why I'm not gonna
exactly.
Do it.
It's a whole thing.
I'm sure you've gotten that, Whitey, where someone like, hey, can you MC this event? You do this stuff all the time. Wouldn't you? You should just do it.
Yeah. And I said, well, I don't really do it. I'm not good.
I'm not actually good at that.
I don't. I mean, the weird thing to me is when people like they're at a family things like, oh, we're going to do a roast for so-and-so. Will you host? Like, no, I don't want to.
Yeah, no.
Do that.
Yeah. The last thing I want to do outside of work is do what I do for work.
That's
I definitely understand that. Yeah, it is just awkward too. It's like, you really want me to like be the best person who goes up here? Like, it's just like, I don't know. It's just
we'll have to get a karaoke night so we can hear Christopher Lod sing.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
I don't know if I like the tune that Louis Riddick is singing, and I like Louis Riddick.
I do too, actually. He's really good. He's been an ESPN staple for a minute now, and usually when you're on for that long, you kind of get stale. But Louis Riddick's actually one of the better ones.
He played. I think he was a scout for a while.
Okay,
he's been in front offices, and the 49ers nearly hired him to be their general manager before they hired Lynch.
I remember that.
Yeah, he was one of the candidates.
Very interesting. Yeah, the TV. Well, I guess he had spent time in front offices, but the TV directly to a job thing has got a checkered past. If you ask Mike Mayock, I never figured out which one.
Mike Mayock. He's scheme diverse. He's going to be a good draft pick. Very scheme diverse. So I think that it's a little disturbing that Louis Riddick says the Seattle Seahawks are going to win the NFC West. There,
still bitter.
There it is. It's out there.
He's still bitter. That's clearly what it is.
I wondered if that was part of it.
No, I don't think so. There is a lot of people who have started, much like people are randomly hyping on the Lions bandwagon here. A lot of people are really hyping up this Seahawks team. And I just think it's overlooking what the 49ers are capable of doing this year. Yes, the quarterback situation isn't answered. We all know that, but it's not like it's not answered because they can't pick one good one. It's they have three really solid ones. And I mean, Brock Purdy is presumably going to be the starter, but no matter who starts at quarterback, I have faith that the 49ers will be, even if Sam Darnold's the quarterback week 1, I would think that the 49ers still have a very good shot of winning that division. I'm also not completely all the way in on Geno Smith. I know he had a really good year last year, but it's just tough for me to buy in that is the guy that Geno Smith is. After years and years of being a backup, I don't know if you can really just turn it all around in one season and have us all expect this to just be the new norm going forward.
Mm-hmm. Here's what Louis Riddick says. I love Kyle Shanahan as much as anybody, but we don't know who the quarterback's going to be for them.
Sure.
And we don't know how it's going to work out. People still believe no matter what Geno Smith did last year, it's like, well, it's Geno Smith. A broken clock can be right twice a day. He just got lucky last year. It just worked out for him. They don't believe. And Louis Riddick says that the division's wide open. It's right there for the Seahawks to take this year, then go on and really get on a run. The team was a year ahead last year. I thought last year they were a playoff caliber wild card type of team. When I saw them in the preseason, went out there for training camp, people said, you need to find a new job because analyzing football isn't the job for you. There's no way Seattle's going to be that good. And then he says, Seattle's for real. I'm going to jump right back on. Louis Riddick.
I don't think the NFC West is wide open, though. Like, I would argue the NFC North is wide open, but the San Francisco 49ers have been a staple in that division for a very long time now. I think it's theirs to lose. Like, I don't think that there is some grand competition. I think the 49ers are going to win 10 games and at least, and it could be more than that. I would be shocked if it's less than that. To me, it's a matter of, can the Seahawks get up to that level? I don't know if I believe that the Seahawks are guaranteed to be over 500, let alone guaranteed to get over 10 wins.
If you're going to say a division is wide open, you're saying that there's at least 3 teams in the division with a shot to win it.
No, there's only 2. There's only 2 that have any
It's not wide.
shot.
And he obviously knows what he's talking about. But in this case, I mean, maybe he's stretching a little bit to have a more interesting take.
Yeah.
It is interesting, though, that Alex Smith was up at the golf tournament.
He was.
Yeah, and he was talking to Matt Mayoko, and he said, all the conversation, a lot of it was about how good are the 49ers. He said, that it's there for him, but he said, you got to win your division.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people who just believe in this Seahawks team this year. They have, I mean, as much as we talk about the talent surrounding quarterback in San Francisco, I mean, they just added Jackson Smith and Jigba, who some would argue is the best receiver from this year's draft class. Have DK, have Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett has been the epitome of a solid, stable receiver. Just every single year is getting over 1,000 yards. DK is incredibly explosive. Their offense can be really, really good. Defense, I still have some questions on. I think that the 49ers are just a lot, especially on paper, are just a lot better suited. And I'm a lot more confident looking at that collection of talent, especially the year after year success that they have, that I just don't understand how you could realistically, you could say the Seahawks have a shot, but there's no way that I could ever imagine saying that the Seahawks should be the favorites.
I know the Seahawks had their moments against the 49ers, but to me, watching them play last year, and it's a different year, but it was clear who the better team was.
Exactly.
And Louis Riddick's premise starts with this notion that everybody who is criticizing or down on the 49ers starts with, and that's the whole thing about, quarterback, you don't know. And I just don't think that's accurate. Because it's pretty clear that Brock Purdy, he's been throwing a football since March.
Yeah. And they've been saying he's going to be the starter.
Yeah.
Like, there's been no question. Yeah. And there's been no hiccups in his recovery or anything like that. Like, all indications are showing Brock Purdy, week 1 quarterback, no questions asked, unless something bad happens, which nothing, everything has been positive in his rehab.
Yeah. So. And then you could say, well, he's only played well for 1 year. I think even if there is a drop off, I think they'd still be fine there because
so much talent.
Yeah.
And you can say the same thing about Geno Smith. Like, if you're going to say Brock Purdy, only 1 year of experience, I don't know if I can bank on Brock Purdy's 1 year of experience. You have to say the same exact thing about Geno Smith.
Agree.
If not even more confidently, because we've seen who Geno Smith is over years and years and years of evidence. Brock Purdy, we've never seen before last year. And the only reason why people like me don't believe that it's something that we can bank on is because he was a 7th round pick, which tells us that there's a certain, the evaluations were done. People weren't high on him. And so that's your defense. But I mean, with the way he played, he was incredible. The talent around him has only gotten better. I mean, Christian McCaffrey now with a full offseason, the just creativity in that playbook, I think next year is going to be out of this world. I don't know how you could look at the situations and realistically say that there's even a fair shot. I think there's a chance things go wrong for the 49ers. And in that sense, the Seahawks are primed to step up and take advantage, but it's the 49ers division to lose. And if you tell yourself anything different, I think you're lying to yourself.
Yeah, it's pretty clear to me who's 1 and who's 2, and there's a gap there. But at the same time, the 49ers, it's hard from where they are right now to year to get a lot better than that.
Yeah.
And Seattle has the potential over the next 2-3 years to get a lot better. But right now, I mean, there's just that gap is still there, but it's incumbent upon the 49ers at some point. If you're going to win a Super Bowl, you're going to want to do that this year or next year, because after that,
right,
you're looking at
that's when it's open.
Different,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, the Rams
different guys you're going to have to rely on, and who is that going to be?
Right. Caleb Williams could be coming to the division next year. Who knows? I mean, the Rams could be very, very bad this year. The Cardinals as well. They might get their act together someday. Who knows? But I think you're right. Like the 49ers window is, if not this year, I think it's next year after that, because, you have to do the Debo extension at some point. And, can you continue to afford to pay everyone? And then at some point you're going to have to pay Brock Purdy as well, especially if he performs this year. It's going to, the bill is going to come due really quick for San Francisco. And, they're trying to maximize their Super Bowl window right now by making big splash moves like bringing in McCaffrey. And, even I think bringing in Sam Darnold is a good way of raising your floor for the quarterback. Like if you do go through Brock Purdy, if you do go through Trey Lance, you could do a lot worse as a third option. And I don't think he'll even be around during the regular season, but Sam Darnold is a nice fallback plan to have.
I think that if Brock Purdy's good to go, I think you end up maybe trading Sam Darnold.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to hold three quarterbacks.
Somebody's QB goes down in camp or something, and it's somebody that really wants Darnold. If that happens, you get something of value.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Did you see why Sam Darnold says he picked the 49ers?
No,
he's like, somebody's always open.
Sure. Exactly. I mean, that's the thing about the off. And that's why I'm telling you, this quarterback thing has been way overblown, because
I think so.
It has nothing really to do with the quarterback. And this might sound simple because it is what the job is, but the quarterback just needs to get the ball to the receiver. That's it. A lot of the time you have to throw them open. You got to read defenses and try and manipulate defenses. Not in this offense. In this offense, someone is always open. Shanahan is a wizard when it comes to play calling. He knows how to get his guys open with space. It's not about making the prettiest deep ball. Sometimes it is, but it's really just about running the play, executing the play, and getting the ball in your playmaker's hands with room to run. And at the professional level, most of the NFL quarterbacks can do that. Even Nick Mullins has shown that, in this system, he can look really effective. I think Sam Darnold will look fine in this system if he does play.
I agree with you, but let me ask you this. As you were talking there, I thought of this. Why is it then? Because the Rams and the 49ers are very similar stylistically.
Yeah.
So why is it that the Rams needed to get Matt Stafford before they actually won the thing? And not to put you on the spot, because I agree with everything
Jared
you
Goff
said.
Isn't a very good quarterback. I mean, they even saying that they got to the freaking Super Bowl.
I know.
With Jared
You're right.
Goff.
You're right.
It wasn't even that. And maybe you could argue to get over the hump, which ended up being true. They had to get a better quarterback to eventually win the Super Bowl.
I think because Goff regressed.
There you go as well.
He wasn't getting better. He was actually becoming an impediment.
Right.
The quarterback in these systems, it's like, stay out of the way. You don't have to make things happen.
Right.
We're going to make things happen. You just get the ball to the right people.
No, absolutely.
So, in some offenses, and traditionally in football, is like quarterback, sometimes you got to make plays. And sure, that's always the case in any offense.
Right.
But with this offense is you get the ball out on time and on schedule, and we're good. And Goff got to the point where, like, he wasn't doing that.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, Jared looked really, really bad.
Now he might be the best quarterback in the league.
Well,
right now, as we speak,
the way people are talking
Goff
about him, I swear, it's crazy. Jared Goff all of a sudden has become an elite level quarterback, and we're talking about him like he's going to be in the MVP race. But yeah, that's a different story.
Did you see? This might be. This is ESPN's list. It might be Mike Sandow. I got to double check. Talking to coaches and front office people, the top 5 about the best quarterbacks and league quarterback tiers. And the top 5 right now, according to NFL insiders, top 5 quarterbacks are all AFC guys.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
and I think Jalen Hurts is 6th. But when you think of it, it's like
Herbert, Burrow, is Lamar Jackson in there?
He's not, but Aaron Rodgers is. Sorry.
He's 38 years old. Okay. At some point, he can't keep doing this thing.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
And Josh Allen.
That's interesting. I mean, and then we've talked about that, I believe, in the past about how the NFC, I mean, you look at the quarterback situation and it's, it's Jalen Hurts up top.
Dak,
I guess. And then Kirk. Like, realistically, is Kirk Cousins the third best quarterback in the
as
NFC?
They call him now, the Goffinator.
Exactly. Like that's where is Kyler Murray, I guess, when he plays, I mean, he's supposed to miss at least half of next year. it's a really, it's if you can have that's why having Brock Purdy as your quarterback might be good enough. Again, the Eagles are going to be very tough, but having Brock Purdy is good enough to get your way through a certain level in the NFC. I think, with Brock Purdy as your quarterback, or even maybe Trey Lance or Sam Darnold as your quarterback, I don't think it's crazy to think that this team could still reach the NFC Championship game. It's just a matter of, are those guys good enough to get you over the hump like we're talking about with Jared and Matt Stafford?
What do you think of this? If Trevor Lawrence were in the NFC, he might be the second best quarterback in the NFC.
No, hands down. Absolutely. No question.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes, it is, because he's probably eighth, ninth in the maybe a little bit lower now, but he's not in the upper echelon of AFC quarterbacks, but NFC, he's number 2 with a bullet, no questions asked. And it really speaks to, how hard it is to get through that AFC, not only this year, but it seems like for the next 5 to 10 years, like it's just going to be a bloodbath of, can Lamar Jackson even get out of the first round, because he's got to go against Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, maybe even Russell Wilson has a resurgence this year. Like it's a really hard thing to get through.
Yeah. I think it's pretty clear the 49ers are better than Seattle, but Seattle doesn't know that yet. So when you play them, you better remind them.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, then winning the division becomes a lot more complicated, and it's that much harder to actually win a Super Bowl.
I think Seattle does have this weird confidence when going against the Niners too, where they feel like they have their number. And I think this would be a really good year for the Niners to really crush their spirit if they can, because you're right. It does feel like Seattle feels like they're on the same level as them. And I just don't think that's true.
Coming up next, Summer League. It's almost over. What?
Almost.
Jalen Slauson puts on a Summer League show, and who gets your, hey, watch this guy's Summer League award. That's next year. Whitey and Watkins, Sactown Spots.
Whitey
and Watkins
on Sactown Sports. The Kings are running it back.
He's got the bucket at the buzzer. Harrison Barnes, Alex Lynn just went above the iron with a 2-hand throwdown. Yeah, that was as nasty as we've seen him in a Kings uniform.
And welcoming some new faces.
Oh, and here comes Vezenkov. He gets the big finish.
Fisher rejected by Mr. Vezenkov.
Keep it locked on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com for the latest Kings news.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Bonnie. I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It's Monday. Temperatures will still run warm this afternoon with highs in the range of 102 to 105. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
It's been said an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And when it comes to a nice, cool summer, it's so true. Right now, get a complete air conditioner tune-up for just $79. Bonnie. Plumbing, sewer, electrical, heating, and air. Bonnie.com. Some restrictions apply. License 696-355.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave, and I recognize, just like my friends at American Energy Heat and Air, that your time is important. And that's why shopping for a new air conditioner is now easier with American Energy Heat and Air's online quoting tool. All you have to do is go to AmericanEnergyAir.com and get an instant quote right now. It'll help you determine what system you're going to need to get. It'll provide the best pricing options, all from the comfort of your home without having to have somebody come to your home. You know how annoying that is? They come in and everybody there is so sweet and nice, but how much better is it to be able to get it on demand? Visit AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out how easy it can be. Or if you want to give them a call and talk through what your needs are, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Check out Whitey and Watkins now on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and watch the show from your desk.
I don't know who he is, but we want to get that Sasha Vezenkov highlight announcer on the show. Sasha Vezenkov.
Spot on. Incredible. G-Man's got the job as long as he wants it. But
But when you're doing basketball in a British accent, which I think he's doing, it just adds an element of, I don't know.
Yeah, and he's got that gravitas behind him.
It's exactly.
Announcers have this almost like poetry when they're calling sporting events. You don't really get a good call of like what's actually happening on the field, but they make everything seem so grand.
Yes.
Like, oh, yes, this is the greatest thing that has ever happened.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Great
You're
for
right.
highlights. Yeah.
Whereas here, what you get is, are you kidding me? Did you see? Are you kidding me? No, I didn't even say anything. You're the announcer.
Yeah. Can you describe the play for me? Because I don't know what happened. Come on.
On the YouTube chat, people weighing in about, football. We all love football. Got football coming. Dwayne Baker says it's going to be Eagles, Niners, and Vikings fighting to come out of the NFC.
I know I like Dwayne Baker.
Clearly, he meant Lions in there, and that's
absolutely not.
That's okay.
Stop sleeping.
Ryan in Sactown says being a quarterback in a system where you just need to throw to the open guy has its own pressures. Well, I certainly agree with that, especially when you have a coach like Kyle Shanahan.
Right.
It's like, what are you doing?
Exactly. I told you to do this.
Do you want me to throw the ball for you, too?
Yeah, exactly. And if it's you don't do exactly what Shanahan said, if you by any chance happen to make your own read or your own decision, it's like, why don't you just make the play that's right in front of you that we're supposed to run? I could see, it's its own separate, it's its own separate set of issues, but those are also a lot better issues to have than, trying, you can't seeing ghosts, as Sam Darnold once said. Like if you're trying to, he does see real ghosts. Check last week's episode. If you're trying to actually manipulate that's just infinite. Yeah, that's way harder. Like being in the 49ers quarterback situation, it brings its own separate set of issues, but those are issues that I think every single quarterback would gladly take on.
Do you remember during the pandemic year, I guess it was a Sunday night game against the Eagles where Nick Mullins had like one of the worst games you will ever see, because Jimmy got hurt. I think it was against the Jets, and Mullins played the next game against the Giants and played really well. Then they had like a Sunday night game against the Eagles, and Kurt Warner had said during the week, Nick Mullins going to make a lot of money. He's a really good quarterback. And then he had about the worst game you'd ever see him have. I think he got hurt. I think he was hurt. I think he was playing hurt.
Yeah.
Because he went from being like, this guy's pretty good to like, he was terrible.
There was a Mullins mania for a little bit there. I mean, that was a very dark season, probably the darkest season that there's been for the 49ers under Shanahan, but he made him look, and to me, that's the case study of, no, Kyle Shanahan, like, I'm a hater. Again, I'm a 49ers hater. I'm sorry, I am. I can't even deny the fact that, if you're making Nick Mullins look like an average starting quarterback, like that's ridiculous, especially Nick Mullins, who I believe also was a 6th or 7th round pick. For him to look that good in the Shanahan system, that made me a believer. At this point, I was like, this guy can make anybody look at least serviceable at the quarterback position. And if you give him, they gave him Jimmy Garoppolo for a couple of years, was able to take Jimmy Garoppolo to Super Bowl and, NFC championship games. If you could just give this guy somebody who skill set wise is actually an average level quarterback, that's when I think this guy can do some real damage, like you saw Sean McVay do with Matthew Stafford. And I think that's why, frankly, Kyle Shanahan has had Kirk Cousins in his mind for so long. Is it's just, I'm not saying go out and get me Tom Brady. I'm just saying go get me the most average guy out there, and I will make him into a star. And I think Brock Purdy could be that guy who is, maybe average or slightly above average. But I think if Purdy gets some comfortability in this system, he could look like at least look on the field wise like he's one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL.
Where
at least in the NFC.
Where is Nick Mullins now?
Do you know where he is?
Yeah,
I do. I definitely know where he is. I wasn't going to mention it, but yeah, Nick Mullins is backing up Kirk Cousins right now. And I'm not excited to see how that goes, because something tells me, again, it's going to show the brilliance of Kyle Shanahan when Nick Mullins has to check in week 13 because Kirk Cousins goes down.
Yeah.
And Nick Mullins looks like garbage. We're all going to be like, oh, I guess it was Shanahan.
By the way, Nick Mullins undrafted for you.
Undrafted. Wow. So even, that's, again, just speaking to the wizardry of Shanahan, they made an undrafted guy. And, granted, Nick Mullins was not setting the world on fire, but again, there were a couple weeks there where people were like, Kurt Warner. Is Nick Mullins going to be a thing moving forward?
Yeah, and I don't know if that would just put too much pressure on him or a combination of that, and I think maybe his elbow just went fling.
Right.
I don't know. Anyway, but he had this similar surgery to
it's
Brock Purdy,
right?
and supposedly he's fine now. So, Summer League championship game tonight. Are you watching?
Yes, I will. I love Imani Bates, and there's nothing else going on, so I will be watching 100%.
Cleveland taking on Houston.
Houston. Yeah, Houston's actually had one of the better summer league teams from the jump. They were in this incredibly exciting Portland Trailblazer game, the first day of summer league right before the Wemby debut.
That was a great game.
And I mean, they have some really interesting pieces. I know Jabari Smith Jr. isn't playing anymore. Tari Eason isn't playing anymore. Those were kind of
It's almost like they don't care who wins the summer league championship.
It's almost like it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
But you know who is playing is the 20th pick in the draft, and somebody who was supposed to be a top 5 or top 10 pick. Cam Whitmore has looked incredible during summer league. He's definitely the guy that I'm looking for on the Houston side. He's been really, really exciting to watch.
Is there a player, or are there players that you've watched in summer league that you want to say, hey, keep an eye on this guy when the season starts? I'll just name 2.
Please.
I mentioned one of them to you. I started following him more closely during the Utah summer league. Keontae George, who got hurt, number 16 pick. He's played really well in the summer league, and he's played. He, as a rookie, he's played like one of those guys who's telling everybody, I don't belong in summer league.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's showing that.
Not even just because he's on Utah, but he does remind me a lot of Donovan Mitchell. Just how it was like, this guy is clearly a lot better than what we thought pre-draft, like a lot better.
And another guy is a 6'7" guard, number 6 pick, Anthony Black with Orlando. Because I think they need that. And I think, there's still questions about his shooting. I know I say that about everybody, but it's true of a lot of these guys.
Especially in this draft.
His summer league debut was really sensational. He's played big so far. Yeah. So, again, a 6'7" guard. They've got a lot of talent in the front court. He could be a nice fit there. So, Anthony Black and Keontae George are my 2 guys to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I haven't been able to watch Anthony Black yet, but I like his tools. Like, he's supposed to be very Lonzo Ball-esque as a prospect. We remember Lonzo as a bigger guard, can move the ball around, but also, and as played out in his NBA career, incredibly talented on the defensive end, especially when guarding guards. I like Anthony Black, and I'm curious how that's going to work out. My 2 guys, I mentioned Tari Eason. He was incredible in his games that he did play for Houston in this summer league. I think he played 2 games for Houston, averaged 23 and 9 in his 2 games. I just think he looked like a grown man. And like you were saying with Keontae George, just looked like he proved he did not belong out there with those guys. The other guy, somebody who I've talked about a lot, Chet Holmgren. I love Chet Holmgren. I think this is going to be a big year for him. Maybe gets his name into the rookie of the year conversation with Scoot and Wemby. I could see it. I think I just think that OKC team is also going to be so fun this year. I think he's going to fit in perfectly. He's going to be a great role player for them, and I think at moments he's going to really show his star potential.
And it was nice to see Jalen Slauson play as well as he did in the summer league finale for the Kings against Milwaukee. He had 17 points and he had 7 rebounds and he had 4 assists. And that's the type of player he's supposed to be, right?
Yep, exactly. I mean, he compared himself to guys like Draymond, and I think the other guy he said was Evan Turner as well. Those are guys who can put the ball on the floor, get assists, do the dirty stuff on defense. If he can be that kind of player mold, I think there's a role for him at some point.
Yeah, not yet, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think he's there yet.
Really unique blend of skills.
Exactly. This is also the 56th pick in the draft. So, anything you get out of him is gravy at this point.
Coming up, why running backs are not seen as quarterback maximizers. What does that mean, and what does that have to do with the fact that they're not getting paid? That's next year. He's Watkins, and I'm Whitey. Thanks for being with us on Sactown Sports.
It's Whitey and Watkins on Sactown Sports. It's the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa. Thursdays at 6 p.m. and Saturdays at 8 a.m. on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. Golf to Go. Thursdays at 6 p.m. and Saturdays at 8 a.m. on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
The story of the nurse and the foot pain that nearly brought him down.
I feel like I'm giving people their lives back.
Robert lived to take care of his patients, but he couldn't do it unless he took care of his foot pain.
I have plantar fasciitis. It'll almost put you on your knees. That's how much it hurts.
His own recovery started when he got fitted for arch supports at the Good Feet store.
Now that I'm pain free, I can make these people feel better.
Can't beat that. Stop by or schedule your free fitting at goodfeet.com. The universal truth of women's shoes. The cuter they are, the more they hurt. You have to put your best foot forward, and if your best foot is an ugly shoe, oh my goodness. Lise Ann thought she had to choose between looking good and feeling good until she got fitted for arch supports at the Good Feet store. Now I can wear the shoes that I've picked out because I like the way they look, not because they were comfortable. Good Feet relieved her pain and her fashion dilemma. Stop by or schedule your free fitting at goodfeet.com.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Y'all ready to do it again, Sacramento? Country in the Park 2 is coming to Heart Health Park at Cal Expo Saturday, September 9th with Cole Swindell, Chris Jansen, Dylan Scott, and more. Plus, a mechanical bull, line dancing saloon, and all the food. Tickets start at $40 or grab your Coors Light Y'all Access passes for $125. For more info, visit SactownSports.com. Country in the Park 2, brought to you by Hoblet Dodge, E2 Family Winery, and Hyatt Vacation Club.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
That's Mike saying good morning. It's the best he can do right now. Yeah, not a cloud in the sky. What Mike could use is a fresh start. And Irish Spring Body Wash. The fresh scent of Irish Spring and those sensational Irish Spring suds are just the reset Mike needs. Now he's ready
to go to work.
It's Sunday. Irish Spring. When the spring hits you, you're ready. Pick up Irish Spring at Walmart today.
Attention all Kia enthusiasts. Elk Grove Kia is proud to be your premier Kia dealer with incredible offers that will leave you speechless. Let's start with the Kia Telluride, the award-winning SUV that has taken the market by storm. While most dealers are shamelessly tacking on a dealer markup of up to $12,000 over MSRP, Elk Grove Kia is offering all 2023 Kia Tellurides in stock with no dealer markup. Or are you in the market for a stylish and reliable sedan without breaking the bank? Look no further than the 2023 Kia Forte LXS. You won't believe your ears when we tell you for only $99 a month you can experience the comfort, performance, and cutting-edge features of the 2023 Kia Forte LXS. Elk Grove Kia, where we put our money where our mouth is and deliver the best deals every time. 2023 Kia Forte $99 per month plus tax, 36 month lease, $49.95 due with signing residual of $12,874.84 based on 10K per year, 20 cents per mile over, zero security deposit required, subject to Kia Finance Tier 1 approval. This payment GK889464595 offer expires 7/31/2023.
Elk Grove Kia. Sactown Sports
Headlines.
I'm Chris Verlotti with your Sactown Sports headlines. The Sacramento Kings ended their summer league with a 92-84 win over the Bucks this weekend. Kings rookie Jalen Slauson led the team in scoring with 17 points to go along with 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. The Kings end their summer league series with a 3-2 record. The Tennessee Titans are expected to sign free agent wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. According to ESPN's Diana Rossini, it is expected to be a 2-year deal with a base salary of $12 million that could reach up to $15 million the first year with incentives. Those are your headlines. Now let's get back to Whitey and Watkins.
Welcome back to today's Salute to Steph Curry. I'm Kevin Michael Whitey Gleason. Here's your host, Christopher Watkins. How about Steph Curry yesterday?
Read the room, dude.
Thank you. How about him? What about him? I mean, he played some golf, I heard, and He actually played the second best golf yesterday. Marty Fish.
Yes. Shot a 69, but that's not how you keep score.
No, that's how golf works, though. If you want to play your little Mickey Mouse tournament, that's cute. Point system. Oh, boy. Oh,
6 points for an eagle.
Oh, boy. Oh, how fun is this game? No, that's not how the game of golf is played, Wardell. No, actually, he played pretty well. It wasn't fun to watch, but it's
impressive.
If it wasn't Steph Curry, I would be gushing about it. I'd be like, this is one of the most incredible things ever to be a two-sport athlete at this level. I mean, whatever, it was against celebrities, but it's nonetheless incredible that you can be an all-time great at one sport and then at the same time have enough skill and also time to dedicate yourself to be equally, or not equally, but to be
better. I think he's better. I think he's a better golfer than he is a basketball player at this point.
Only because you said it, I will agree. Not a very good basketball player, but pretty good golfer.
Better golfer than basketball player right now. Chris Verlaud mentioned during the break, I know you heard him, that this is, I've forgotten, the summer of Steph Curry because the documentary's coming.
Yeah, when Chris said that, I almost threw up.
He gave me a look like, all right, you should get out of the ring now.
I was like, yeah, Chris hasn't gotten a look like that since Doug was here. Doug used to give Chris those looks all the time, and I felt it in that moment. I was like, man, Chris, I really hate you for saying that. Like, I hate you a lot.
I have more good news for you. The Athletic introduces a King's Reign, a podcast
that better be about the Sacramento Kings.
A podcast focused on LeBron James's remarkable career.
I'm sorry?
Episode 1. Yeah, you can listen to it at The Athletic. King's Reign, a podcast focused on LeBron James' remarkable career. Reason I bring this up, it's interesting now. We saw it with Jordan's Last Dance. Steph Curry's got his documentary. Jeez. Maybe Tom Brady's documentary was part of this. Players are trying to shape their legacies through
propaganda,
through their documentaries and podcasts.
I call it propaganda.
Like, that's fine. It took me a while to realize that's what was going on. And now it's like something you got to do.
You have to. Like, it's part of your legacy is documenting your legacy and making sure that as many people know it as possible. But the problem with these things is it's rarely told from a completely unbiased perspective.
Well, of course not.
Usually it's heavily handed by the athlete that is being the main focus in order to get that level of access and also to get them on your side so they're promoting it as well.
It makes sense. History is told by the guys who win the wars.
Sure, but
and sports history is told by the guys who win the sports.
I guess, but that's kind of what we have journalists for, and it's meant to be an unbiased, or maybe everyone has their bias, but it's meant to be not through the lens of these athletes, because I think a lot of things kind of not get lost in translation, but a lot of things get told one side of the story and don't paint the complete picture. Like, I'm sure when in the King's Reign, also, does it say who is the hosts of said King's Reign?
I can find that
is
for
it
you.
LeBron centric? Or is it more just a narrative podcast about LeBron's career? Because that's a whole different thing. Like, the Steph Curry documentary is a Steph Curry documentary. It is going to document from the time he was at, or probably younger, before Davidson, through his NBA career, but it's going to be highlighting everything Steph Curry.
That's a good question.
Ups
King's
and
Reign
downs.
podcast takes a look back at LeBron's unprecedented 20-season run. Yeah, it's a good point. I'm not actually sure he has anything to do with it. Listeners will go deeper on all the iconic moments from LeBron's career.
Sure.
Yeah. Guided by first-person perspectives from the Athletic students. Okay. So actually,
maybe it's like just a collection of interviews.
Maybe
potentially.
I shouldn't blame this on him. Yeah.
I think it's still okay. I mean, I'm sure LeBron didn't have much to do with it, but it is, it still brings to the conversation the Steph Curry stuff, and I think this is the way to do it. Like, there's 30, like the 30 for 30 model, where it's not necessarily, this guy telling the story, but you're more telling the narrative and the story around what you're talking about and painting a full picture. And I just think it's kind of gotten to the point where, there is going to be a LeBron documentary at some point. It's all but been confirmed that a film crew has been following him, I think the last 5 or 10 years of his career, and documented literally everything that's gone on in his life.
Yeah.
I just think it's a dangerous, slippery slope to get into, because it's just, it's sports. So at the end of the day, it's not like we're talking about nuclear secrets being whatever. It's just, sometimes these guys can paint themselves in a very favorable light, which of course you're going to do in your own documentary, but that doesn't really do it justice. It doesn't paint the full picture for what people who watch this 10 years from now, or people who never watched LeBron actually play or Steph actually play. There's a lot of things that are left out, and it just doesn't paint the full story. I'm not a fan of player-led documentaries.
I think players have been doing this in different ways for years. I think players, I mentioned this last week, there are certain players, I'm thinking of some NFL guys who are kind of on the fence, Hall of Fame wise, and then they would become analysts.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden they were, it's like, oh yeah.
Keeping your name in the news.
Yeah.
So that it seems like you're a bigger personality.
Chris Carter comes to mind.
That was a low blow.
No,
it's a low blow, Whitey.
I'm not saying they shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, but I think he helped his candidacy by becoming more public. And hey, I'm Chris Carter.
I don't think I can speak on that fairly, because in my eyes, Chris Carter was my childhood. Like, you could not tell me Chris Carter and Randy Moss were not two of the best 5.
I think A-Rod's trying the same thing, but I don't know if it's going to work.
Yeah, A-Rod's a great example, because he's trying to change his. I think the idea of being on camera was, once you know A-Rod the person, you're not going to hate A-Rod the player, who was probably, at least in my lifetime, the most hated baseball player just for their personality. Barry Bonds, obviously, for other reasons, but I think people hated A-Rod because of A-Rod the person. And like you said, I don't think being on TV has necessarily done him any favors in that regard.
He's actually just a swell guy. Look at that.
No, he's actually just as bad as what you think he is, if not maybe worse. And we were talking about in the All-Star game the other day, like his fake smile doesn't quite work. His personality doesn't exist. So
That's why
it's not great.
Dallas Braden will always be one of my
so good.
favorites.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
Very real.
Yeah. You remember the story of him and A-Rod? Yeah.
No.
The Yankees are playing this would have been around 2010, and A-Rod flies out or something, and he's running back to the Yankee dugout. I think this was in Oakland, and he runs over the mound. And Dallas Braden says, "Get off my mound!" Yeah,
hell
yeah,
at him. Absolutely.
And I guess A-Rod looks back at him like, "What?
I do what I want."
It's such an A-Rod move too, because he did it, and then he's turning around like, What did I do? I didn't do anything."
You don't run over the
No,
you don't do that.
Well, you also don't slap at people's gloves, but he did that as well.
Like no one was going to see that.
Yeah, exactly. Like no one, and of course, what did I didn't do anything. What is everybody talking about?
Yeah. Well, anyway, I apologize to LeBron, because apparently he doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the LeBron podcast.
Well, that makes me want to listen to it more, maybe, because it's going to be unbiased, and I would assume it's going to be actual journalists talking about their experience with LeBron James.
But he probably will have his own doc.
Oh, he 100% will have his documentary, and if I had to imagine, it'll be close to right after he retires.
Mm-hmm.
Almost probably, maybe even the next
I will
year.
miss him. I know we make fun of him. I make fun of him all the time.
Oh my gosh.
I will miss watching him play and rooting against him, frankly, but I will miss him.
Well, he also just knows how to be a star too. I mean, he's been a star for so long that he knows, like we just talked about, he knows how to keep his name in the conversation. And that is kind of a dying act, is like, a lot of these guys actually don't like having their name tossed around in media a lot. And LeBron is like, I see the massive benefit of it. I just don't think that that's a thing that people do.
Maybe
anymore.
LeBron and Bronny, right into the sunset here in Sacramento,
It's beautiful location to do it. No better place than Sacramento.
Coming up next, props to this quarterback for handling an awkward teammate situation very skillfully. And as promised, we'll look at running backs and why they are not seen as quarterback maximizers and what in the world that means. Coming up with Whitey and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Whitey and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports is your source for the 49ers.
Oh, it was all. It was awful.
Did that leave a bitter taste in your mouth?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Me and Kyle had a long meeting the other day. We watched tape. We talked about it. We put it behind us. And just going through the tape and just look how sluggish and like how bad it looked on tape. Like I said, just reflecting on last offseason, it kind of played a big role in that. I'll never put nothing like that back on tape again.
Tune into Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com for the latest 49ers offseason developments.
Hey, you want to be around people having a great time? You need to come check out Capital Casino, offering the most varieties of table games in the region in the friendliest environment. Come for the food, which is awesome, of course, and stay and play. Conveniently located in downtown Sacramento at 411 North 16th Street, right there in downtown Sacramento for over 20 years. Cap Casino, best food, best games, and of course, the best action. And please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sep Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is, live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sep Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sep's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sactown Sports 1140.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network. Well, when the A's took the shortstop Jacob Wilson from Grand Canyon in the first round of this year's draft, it meant the A's had drafted a shortstop from Thousand Oaks High in 2 of the last 3 first rounds, going back to 21, when the A's took Max Muncy. And now Wilson, coached by his dad, the former big leaguer Jack Wilson, in high school, taken by the A's 6th overall. Ken Korak here, introducing you to the Xfinity 10G network. Xfinity is undergoing a multi-year network evolution, giving you a powerful connection today while building toward a faster, more reliable tomorrow. The Xfinity 10G network gives you the fastest internet with even faster speeds rolling out all the time. You also get a consistent and reliable connection when everyone's online, even during peak hours. That's a home run. If you want to learn more, go online at xfinity.com/10G.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Amateur players will be pleased to know that the USGA doesn't object to a friendly bet with your weekend foursome. Friendly bets include soft drinks after the round, hot dogs at the turn, or even a $2 Nassau, one of the most widely used bets in golf. It takes its name from the Nassau County Country Club of Glen Cove, Long Island, one of the many clubs frequented by the well-to-do in the late 19th century. As the story goes, matches between these clubs were often reported in the local newspapers, sometimes to the embarrassment of wealthy industrialists coming out the loser. The Nassau captain, J.B. Coles Tappan, then devised a format where the worst possible result could not be reported as anything more than a 3-0 defeat. In a Nassau, 3 equal wagers are placed on the first 9, the second 9, and 18-hole total. A $2 Nassau is sometimes referred to as a 2-2-2 bet. Some play better with a bet to keep their attention. Others are nervous at the thought of losing. Whatever your choice, golf is a game. Have some fun. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 50 features.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Find small business calm at ooma.com/radio. That's OOMA.com/radio.
Hold up, you're using Swiffer Power Mop? What would Mom say?
Oh, she'd be like, a mopping bucket is the only way to deep clean your floors. And I'd be like, Mom, this is the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one that gets you a mop and bucket clean in half the time.
She'd never believe you.
I'd say, look, the solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket. And the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get into grout lines. That's why you're the smart one.
Really?
What? Mom said it.
The new Swiffer Power Mop. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Shop Folsom Lake Kia for all your favorite models at low prices and payments, plus low finance rates and 0 down deals with approved credit. Go see my friends at Folsom Lake Kia right here in Sacramento for over 20 years.
Check out Whitey and Watkins now on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and watch the show from your desk.
We appreciate the fact that you're listening. How much? Well, here you go. Live Nation has teamed up with Sactown Sports for your chance to see Tears for Fears at Toyota Amphitheater on July 29th. So just let's see, for a pair of tickets to Tears for Fears, Toyota Amphitheater, be what number?
4.
Number 4 right now. Maybe they'll do a version of the song a parody I did on of their song Shout about Mike Trout. Trout, can't get him out. Maybe they'll do that. I don't know. But if you're caller 4, you can find out. You can be there. Thanks for listening.
I can't get him out. I don't think I know a single Tears for Fears song.
Really? Well, you should go to the show.
I don't think so. Yeah. I would love to.
You got to get to this.
Is that an invite? I would love to go. Thank you.
All right.
I'll call into the station right now.
Actually,
I said caller number 4. Gotcha.
Sheeny and I saw them with Hall & Oates at Golden One about 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was packed.
Really?
Yes. They're like Hall & Oates, like, man, thanks for coming, everybody.
Yeah, they're like, geez, this is the most packed it's been all tour.
Yeah.
Incredible. Hey, man, Sacramento shows out. What can I say?
Yeah. I have to give some credit to your guy, Kirk Cousins. I know I took some shots at him earlier and said I never want him on my team, but I do have to give him credit. I think he handled a very awkward situation very well. Justin Jefferson, and by the way, Justin Jefferson just got he's named in the Madden
99 club.
Yeah.
Yeah. He deserves it. Very, very deserving of it.
And he's your guy too, I know.
Absolutely, yeah.
But Justin Jefferson was recently asked to name the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yep.
And he says Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen. The audio was not entirely clear, but it sounded like he then mentioned Cousins after Allen. It sounded like it, but it's not clear.
Okay.
But still, his top 5 were clear. Cousins was not on the list.
Sure.
And so somebody mentions it to Kirk Cousins. Hey, he was on KFAN.
Hey.
Sure. So he was asked about that. And, hey, what did you hear about Jefferson? Didn't mention one of the top 5 quarterbacks. Kirk Cousins says, I didn't even see it. This is the first time hearing about it. He said, as a competitor, yeah, you always want that. People have to be honest and share what they think. And I'm not going to tell somebody what they need to think. And hopefully in 2024, I'll be on his list. We'll see what we can do this year. That's awkward, right? I think he handled it well.
That's a very awkward. And yes, that is that's a beautiful answer from Kirk to try and make as few headlines as possible. I've got no problem with either side of this. Like, I don't think Justin Jefferson should lie just because Kirk Cousins is his quarterback, especially when it would be disingenuous. Like, if he would have put Kirk Cousins in his top 5 quarterbacks, it probably would have raised the question of, wait, what?
Yeah.
You really believe Kirk Cousins is top 5? And then he would have had to double down on the lie and try and explain, oh yeah, Kirk is about, and like
he named him 6, which again, it's kind of unclear.
Right.
When I first saw the story, I thought, wow, he's taking shots as his quarterback, but it sounds like, no, that's not really what happened. And maybe he tried to squeeze him in there 6th. So that's, I think they both handled it well.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's fine. And sure, like in an ideal world, does Justin Jefferson just say, hey, Kirk is one of the best. I love having him and whatever. Put him in your top 5. It doesn't matter. Sure, but I also just don't have an issue with him actually being honest and truly giving us top 5 because we all know Kirk Cousins is not a top 5 quarterback. And to say it would have just led to a bigger story and probably not a bigger story, but
maybe Jefferson, next time it happens, he can say, well, taking my guy aside because he's my guy.
There you
taking
go.
him out of it,
right?
Not including him because he's at the top of my list because that's my quarterback. Blah blah blah.
I just don't think that anybody really has that much love for Kirk Cousins. I think everyone, including Kirk Cousins, knows what the Kirk Cousins deal is. He's very good, but everybody is always looking at the guy who's coming after him, and I just think it's a very weird spot to be in, but I think everybody, especially Kirk at this point, knows, he knows what it is.
Speaking of Vikings, what's going on with Dalvin Cook, Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs?
Don't be a running back.
What's going on with these
That's
guys?
what it is. It's if you got kids, don't have them be a running back because there's no future and there's no money in the position. The NFL has made that very abundantly clear that it doesn't matter what you've done. It is what will you do for us? And clearly there's just this mentality right now that if you can find running backs are a dime a dozen. It's really just finding guys who can hit holes. And at this level, most guys can just follow the line and get 4 or 5 yards. That's really all they need.
One prominent agent, we don't have his name or her name, with multiple running back negotiations under their belt, said running back value is being depressed more than ever by teams shifting towards paying numbers 1 and 2 wideouts more than ever.
That makes sense.
Where's the money going? They're giving it to their top 2 wideouts. This agent said the long-term build of the Giants and Raiders will reflect that over the next few seasons. This agent, again, we don't know who it is. He said, the big running back contracts have turned into catching a falling knife. Coaches and general managers are more focused on paying 2 or 3 receivers to maximize the return on the quarterback. That money has to come from somewhere. It's usually not coming out of the offensive line. It's definitely not coming at the expense of a franchise quarterback. So it comes out of the pockets of running backs. That's where it is. End quote.
Yeah, I've never really thought about it, but that's definitely true. I mean, traditionally in the past of the NFL, it's you have 1-star receiver and that is it. Like you have your T.O., you have your Randy Moss, you have whatever, your Hines Ward, whoever it is that you may like. And that's it. You don't really pay for receiving duos, but we just did it the other day. Like there's tons of teams out there. There's at least 10 teams out there who have pretty solid two receiver systems. And the 49ers, we listed, I think, a 7th or 8th best on that list with Debo and Ayuk. And I think that's just a sign. That's just the receivers. We're not talking tight ends getting paid more money than they traditionally would as well. And it also, as he points out, they're, what's the quarterback maximizers?
Yeah, I'd never heard that before.
Never heard it before, but I understand what he's trying to say exactly with those words. It's like if you have 2 solid receivers, it can elevate, like we're talking with Brock Purdy. It can elevate by having great weapons. It elevates the floor of your guy because, yeah, he still has to get it to him, but having 2 great receivers will make your quarterback look better because they'll catch balls that they shouldn't or take catches further than what they should be and all that stuff. So it makes sense.
It wasn't that long ago, but remember the days of, say, the triplets where you have Troy Aikman and you have Emmitt Smith and you have Michael Irvin and your offense is set. This agent says, unless it's a guy that can catch 80 passes and make explosive plays every game, running backs are not seen as quarterback maximizers. They diminish faster from a physical standpoint after 5 or 6 years. Really good receivers can potentially play at a high level through a quarterback's entire prime. Running backs are more disposable and renewable and interchangeable. I don't think elite number 1 receivers and really good number 2 receivers are seen that way, and I can prove it, the agent says. Just look at the last 10 years of receiver money compared to the last 10 years of running back money. They blew by each other going in opposite directions. So that's what's going on with the running back positions.
Does it make sense for the NFL to have salary caps? Because, I mean, he is right in the sense of the reason the running backs aren't getting paid is just the money is being dispersed elsewhere. Shouldn't it be a system where or at least increase the salary cap to a point where you can realistically pay everyone you need to pay? I mean, there's always going to be some position that you can't address fully with the money that you want, but
if they had a stronger union, the cap would go up. Though the union for
you want the owners to voluntarily pay more money.
The union is really
could be voluntary
compared to baseball and basketball, especially. It's so weak.
Right? Yeah. It's they
basketball.
Seem to have no
leverage. The union can fight for a higher, going to raise the cap. We need more money.
Right?
Yeah, and they can. They have ways of making sure that happens.
Right.
And football's like, well, we don't like this, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, you got to concede to a ton of stuff because the NFL, especially, the majority of NFL players aren't those who are paid very well or compensated well enough to survive 5 or 6 months without football. A lot of those guys are check to check or year to year, and if they don't know where their next check is coming from, they're not like NBA guys who have tens of millions of dollars in reserve. A lot of these guys, especially the non-quarterbacks, are very much dependent on actually playing football.
And we find ourselves observing here right on the front lines of this battle right now because you have, as we've said, you've got young, productive running backs.
Yeah,
young
27,
guys,
28
not guys
years
that are past
old.
their primes, and teams don't want to pay them.
Right, and I would use
players.
the argument but it's Leonard Fournette, it's Zeke Elliott, it's Dalvin Cook. Those are the guys who haven't been signed. Those are all running backs who don't really catch the ball. But then there's a guy like Kareem Hunt who is incredible at both. And it's like, if Kareem Hunt can't get signed, somebody who's a great pass catcher and a great running back could probably start for you. What chance does Ezekiel Elliott have? If he can't be a bell cow, he doesn't have a position.
Up next, a draft expert, supposedly an expert, admits he was wrong on Keegan Murray. Next, Whitey and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Whitey
and Watkins
on Sactown Sports. It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Up comes this kind of portly-looking guy, and he holds up his beer like cheers to the crowd. He goes, "Let's go Dodgers!" Did it 5 straight times. There's no Dodgers. You're not even in the same league.
And it's always a Dodgers guy that does it.
Right.
As a Dodgers fan, I'm aware of these people.
Who
it's
are you?
No, it's like your drunk uncle.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on Sactown Sports.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Summertime is a great time to get your home evaluated for solar. And while you're at it, make sure your roof is in good shape for all seasons. Hey, Jason Ross here to tell you about ACR Solar and Home Services. Go to acrsolar.com to find out all the different things that they can provide for you. And while we're all watching utility costs go up, along with everything else, why not make the most of the sunshine beating down on your roof? Harness that solar power and cut those rising utility bills while at the same time improving the value of your home. ACR Solar and Home Services makes it easy with a simple evaluation that'll show you just what it would take to get your home generating savings that help your bottom line and help protect the environment. So start now, and while you're there, ACR Solar and Home Services can make sure your roof is in prime condition. So just go to acrsolar.com and start your savings today. ACR Solar and Home Services, quality, value, and integrity since 1979.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Everyone knows that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Kenny and Jerry here from Bell Brothers. And that's especially true when it comes to your air conditioning system.
A precision tune-up and professional cleaning costs a little bit up front, just $87, but will prevent much bigger, more expensive, and inconvenient problems later.
We actually replace systems all the time from people who don't get annual tune-ups. They either forget or they just don't realize it's important. So instead of their systems lasting 12 or more years like they should, they need to be replaced in just 6 or 7 years.
Don't risk it. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Call Bell Brothers for an $87 air conditioner precision tune-up today and keep your system clean, energy efficient, and in good working shape.
Our number is 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com. That's 916-444-1234 or online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
No surprise guys, Bell Brothers.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Take it on the local level.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Chris Relatick, your Sactown Sports Headlines. Sacramento Kings ended their summer league this weekend with a 92-84 win over the Bucks. Kings rookie Jalen Lawson led the team in scoring with 17 points to go along with 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. Kings end their summer league series with a 3-2 record. The Tennessee Titans are expected to sign free agent wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. According to ESPN's Diana Rossini, it is expected to be a 2-year deal with a base salary of $12 million that could reach up to $15 million the first year with incentives. Those are your headlines. Let's get back to Whitey and Watkins.
A couple of other things that jump out about that Kings box score from their final Summer League game. Alex O'Connell, Chris Watkins, 3 of 5 3-pointers, hit 4 of 8 shots overall, 12 points. But Mike Dahm, He scored 14, but it was only 2 for 7 beyond the arc.
Yeah.
If he's making threes, that guy maybe is a player.
I think so. I mean, I don't know if he's a player here in Sacramento, but I was definitely left with an impression of Mike Daum. He definitely stood out in what game was that? I think it was Atlanta. He hit a couple threes. And then, in the Timberwolves game was, I think he got 4 blocks in that one. So he's somebody who's shown some promise. I don't know if he has room.
Block party.
Yeah, I don't know if he's got some room on this roster, but somebody who definitely left an impression for sure. And the Kings' other guys, Jordan Ford, we've talked about plenty. Slauson, Colby Jones. I think
Ford had the last game off. Take the day off.
He did. Yeah, he deserved it too.
Yes.
To me, that does that tell you anything?
I wondered about that. I don't know, but I wondered about that.
I would think so. I mean, there would have to be some form of guarantee, I think, at that point, because you don't want to be, not that he needed that extra game to show anything else, but if you're really truly fighting for a contract, I would think that you would probably say, hey, coach, I appreciate the fact that you guys think I've played really well and I maybe don't need to be out there, but any film is good film for me.
I had the same
point.
thought. Yeah, not sure, but I had the same thought.
Yeah, I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if he doesn't at least have a training camp invite.
I think he's locked up that much.
I would hope so.
At least. Before we get to Keegan Murray, we were just a few moments ago talking about what's going on with running backs in the NFL, how they're not getting paid what they used to get paid, how they're not getting paid what they think they deserve to get paid. And we had an update on that because Saquon Barkley's deadline has come and gone.
Yes, him and Josh Jacobs. I guess today there was a 1 p.m. Deadline for guys on the franchise tag to sign an actual extension, to not be on the franchise tag. Saquon, Josh Jacobs, both did not reach deals, as well as Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard does say he plans, Jane Slater of, I believe, NFL Network, of 105.3 The Fan in Texas, says that Tony Pollard is expected to play on the $10.1 million franchise tag. However,
he hasn't
Saquon and
he hasn't objected to his situation.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
the other two have.
Yes. Yeah. And, the other two are kind of in different situations. Tony Pollard kind of just rose to prominence or real prominence last year. So he's probably a little more willing to play on that 10.1, but Saquon and Josh Jacobs are guys who have been, they've been bell cows for their teams for the past 4 years, and they are expecting to get paid.
What's that?
I mean, that's true, right?
Here is it?
Really doesn't exist anymore. But the way that they ran Josh Jacobs last year, I mean, if the bell cow does exist, it's what Josh Jacobs had to do last year. He proved it. I think he led the NFL in rushing yards, if I'm not mistaken. And was really, really good last year, not out of nowhere, but just incredibly surprising that he was one of the top running backs in the league. They're looking for long-term extensions just to, with this running back position, with the hole that we're seeing and all the guys who don't have jobs right now, they're looking for security, and I don't blame them at all. It's going to be this negotiation period or whatever, this holdout. It's going to get dirty. It's going to get messy. Things are going to get said in the media. It sucks, but I think that this is the necessary in order for running backs to get treated how they should, especially ones who produce and are as important to their team's success as those two are.
So you look at the guys now that are bell cows or close to it.
Yeah.
And you got like McCaffrey and Derrick Henry. You got to be like one of the all-time greats.
Pretty much.
And even obviously the way they use McCaffrey is not like a traditional quote unquote bell cow running back.
He's not getting 25 rushes. He might get 25 touches in a game, but it's dispersed differently. I mean, Derrick Henry, if anybody, is your traditional back, but he is truly one of a kind. I mean, there's nobody else. Saquon, they're trying to get more involved in the pass game, but
he can, as I call it, he can move the pile.
He sure can.
Yeah.
I just think that these running backs are incredibly undervalued, and it's really funny how the teams who do have these running backs are incredibly happy to have them. And, it just never seems like you're for worse for having a guy in the backfield that you can rely on, where it seems to be this trend is to just find your Elijah Mitchells, find, Isaiah Pacheco. If you're
Wasn't
the Chiefs,
Saquon like the number 2 pick?
3, I believe 3 or 4 he was. And that's the end of that as well. Like we're never, Bijan Robinson was about as close as it got to having that conversation again. And he ended up going 7th. And even that, people were like, I don't know if you can take a running back in the first round period anymore, and just how differently things have changed in the past 10 years. I mean, it's incredible. Like, I think that we are truly going to move into an era of no more first round running backs.
2018 NFL Draft, Cleveland Browns, Baker Mayfield.
Ugh.
New York Giants, Saquon Barkley.
Oh,
New York Jets,
wow.
Sam Darnold.
Ugh.
Cleveland Browns, Denzel Ward. Denver Broncos, Bradley Chubb.
Okay.
Colts, Quentin Nelson. Buffalo
Okay.
Bills, Josh Allen.
That works.
Bears, Roquan Smith.
Wow.
49ers, Mike McGlinchey. Arizona, quarterback, Josh Rosen.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about the Rosen one.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so that Derwin James went 17th.
See, that's where it's like, how can you say that
Calvin
running
Ridley,
backs
26th.
How can you say you can't take a first round running back, and then you look at those top 3 picks and Saquon Barkley is absolutely the one to take there? Like, there's no doubt. And I know value. Yes. Like when you're talking financial value and where else you can find
Fred Warner,
replacement
number
guys.
70.
That's incredible. That's great value right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good draft, actually, despite the top 3.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of drafts, the Kings very happy with the guy they selected.
I would say so.
2 years ago, Keegan Murray. And I guess now we've got a draft expert, a so-called draft expert admitting, I was wrong. Yeah. Which is an old Social Distortion song.
I was like, I don't know what that is.
So who do we have and what's the story?
It was Sam Vecini, I believe, on his podcast, came out and said, I don't have the direct quote, but it was essentially, Chris, do we have it? Can we play that real quick?
I think you're really right. I think I just need to apologize to the Sacramento fan base.
You're right.
Keegan has way more upside than what I thought.
Yeah.
Just truly.
Yeah.
He's way more upside than what I thought.
Yeah.
The self-creation things that we've seen now in Summer League, a lot of it looked like pretty translatable just in terms of being able to get to his spots with power and length and athleticism.
I think so,
but
too.
also with the skill, like the ability to handle the ball. Obviously, he can shoot.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a dude.
Yeah.
This was I was a little too low on Keegan. I think even after this season, I think I was a little too low on Keegan.
What do you think, Sacramento fan base? Apology accepted or not?
I would say apology accepted. Sure. I mean, he's still early on the train to hop on. I think, I don't know if I'll go as far as to say that Keegan answered all of my questions when it comes to putting the ball on the ground and everything Sam mentioned in there. But, I think it's very clear that anyone who thought that Keegan Murray just didn't have much of a ceiling at all and that he was essentially just going to be a glorified spot up shooter and it was way too high to take a guy who's a role player. I think that ship has sailed, and it's shown that Keegan has potential at least to really be something in this league. Just a level of comfortability that we saw not only in the Summer League or in the California Classic, but I look at the playoffs and I just think, again, and I pointed at it when the playoffs were going on, but there were moments when it was bad for the Kings. Like they could not buy a bucket. And who steps up but Keegan freaking Murray?
And he was bad early in the series and
terrible.
really showed something, turn it around in the series.
To me,
the course of the series.
I mean, that's a huge accomplishment for somebody. It's almost better to go through the struggle and then by the end to say you came out on the other side and really feel better about him. Like, I think that's really impressive and speaks to his maturity and what's possible for his game. The fact that, throughout the year, you saw it with your own eyes, him progressing and him getting more and more comfortable. I think it's just going to be a continuation next season. I'm excited to see. We got a taste in the California Classic of what he's been working on in the offseason, but he's going to have another 2 months here to really round out and develop his game to bring it into year 2. And I think it's going to be a massive jump. I mean, we've been talking about how it seems the Kings are banking on internal development to be the thing that takes them to a new level next year. I think that starts with Keegan Murray and everybody else is just going to follow suit.
Weren't there a ton of people that wanted the Kings to take Jaden Ivey?
A ton of people who wanted to take Jaden Ivey, which never made a whole lot of sense to me because the Kings literally just went through that same fiasco with Tyrese Halliburton and De'Aaron Fox. And as it's played out, Tyrese Halliburton was a much better player than Jaden Ivey and a lot more, especially as a fit. Like Tyrese could shoot the ball. And so in theory could play off ball off of De'Aaron. Jaden Ivey is completely on ball. And, we're seeing, he's a little bit further behind on the development scale of where you would want to be. There was a lot of talk of Jaden Ivey is an incredible athlete. He's Westbrook. He's John Morant. He's Derrick Rose. I just never saw it. He's incredibly athletic, but those guys are upper echelon, next tier, incredible, never seen before athletes. He's just a tier below that. And that's not meant to be a diss. It's just like, he's not a special athlete. He is a great athlete, but he's got to have other skills, basketball skills to rely on. And at that point, I just thought he was a okay project point guard. And I still don't think he's in the right spot. I don't think Detroit's the right spot for him.
Keegan Murray was very fortunate that he was taken by a team that had some stability and some excellent coaching. And when is the last time you could say that about a player who was drafted by the Sacramento Kings?
I still didn't think you were talking about the Kings. I was like, wait, that's White.
Hito Turkoglu?
Yeah, right. Honestly, probably. It's like, yeah, Kevin Martin, maybe. That's the last time you probably could have said that. And that was, I'm again not good at math. I don't know, like 8 years, 19, 15. I don't know. It was a long time.
Numbers are hard.
They're
It's
so
more than
tough,
8 years
They're
ago.
so tough.
Yeah.
It was a bit. I'm leaning into.
I liked it.
I'm just going to keep leaning into the bad math bit so that you can never really tell if I'm being honest or if I'm just joking around totally. But yeah, I mean, Keegan really, it is crazy to say, but he went to a perfect situation for him, one where he wasn't ever asked to be the guy. Keegan Murray, go out and please just have a night. He was never asked to do that. It was always fill your role, do what you're asked to do, no less, no more. That's all we need. We don't need you putting the ball on the deck. Don't need you scoring 30 a game. None of that. Just go be the guy that we know you can be and feel comfortable. And I think he was incredibly comfortable this year or last year. And I think this year is about getting him out of that comfort zone and seeing, okay, what do we truly have here and what avenues can we pursue in his development?
And a big reason why the Kings felt as comfortable as they did with a less than splashy offseason was because they feel like they have a guy who is in the process of becoming a splashier player right before our very eyes.
Right. And it's
Keegan's going to be one of those guys that everyone wanted the Kings to go out and get this year. He's already here. Just going to take a little time.
Yeah, it's just going to take some time. And I do think he's going to come out, and I think you're going to clearly realize he's a different player from year one to year two. I just think that there's just so much that he could have improved on last year, whether it be finishing at the rim or playmaking or just putting the ball on the ground in general. I just think we're going to see things from Keegan this year that we didn't see at all last year.
So some people were wrong about Keegan Murray. How come so many people were so wrong about the Kings last year? And speaking of, Chris was not wrong about this guy. That is next. Whitey and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
It's Whitey and Watkins on Sactown Sports. Get all the latest 49ers news heading into the 2023 season on Sactown Sports.
I think Brock was smart, and we kind of facilitated that he met with a bunch of different surgeons. The hope is he's ready for the regular season. We'll take it as it comes, as we're doing. He's working incredibly hard, and the early returns are really good.
Sactown Sports, Sacramento's official home for 49ers football.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. You know, changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Valvoline Advanced can help your engine get more miles. Right now, buy a 5-quart jug and get a free STP extended life oil filter. That's right, free. Get started on your next job today with the parts you need, when you need them, at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Hey kids, it's Carmichael Dave from my good friends at Fire Wings, the perfect fast casual eating establishment for the entire family. A great place to enjoy all the ball games from all around the country with 21 delicious flavors to choose from. Bone in, bone out. For more convenience, order online. Go to firewings.com, find a location near you, grab that order online, and tell them Carmichael Dave sent you. Fire Wings, hey, just wing it.
at your desk, on your phone, in the car.
Whitey and Watkins.
On Sactown Sports.
Hope you had a great weekend. Chris Watkins shot a 63 yesterday. Blistering 63. That was what, 9 over par?
9 over
Pretty
par,
good.
yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
I feel like you need to put the caveat out there as a par 54. So,
Still, I mean, sources say that he is just playing the best golf of his life.
That is absolutely a fact. That is a bona fide fact. I think I've played golf since I was in 7th grade. And it's just been a long journey of being okay, feeling like, okay, I can play with just about anybody.
Is it hard keeping score? Because I've heard you have trouble with numbers sometimes. That's what I've heard. You've said that.
Yeah, I mean, it is tough. Honestly, I do have to progressively do my score. I cannot just put 3, 4, 4, and then at the end of the 9 add it.
You can.
No, I mean I could, but it's just a lot easier to be like, okay, 3, then I got a 4 on the next hole, so then I'll just put 2 rows under. I'll just put 7, and that way I can just add the smaller numbers instead of just 45 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 4. And I'm like, okay, I'm lost.
But you're and you don't need me to tell you this, but you're a real Sacramento golfer because you're out there yesterday. It's 100 and whatever.
Yeah.
But if you're a Sacramento golfer, it's like, well, yeah.
That's if I'm gonna golf, it's the nature of the game. Yeah. I mean, sometimes
careful, take precautions.
Absolutely.
But yes.
Sunscreen it up. Absolutely. Get some water out there. Shout out Bradshaw Ranch was passing out waters at the end of the round. Thank you for that. Yeah, very, very necessary. And also use a cart. There's no way you could play 18 holes walking in that heat. So don't be too proud and use a cart. So
was it crowded?
No. Well, it was when I first got out there. So the tee time was at 10. The initial wave of people trying to get out there before it gets hot was definitely packed. But when I played the second 9, there was literally my group and then one group directly behind us. And by the time we were on the 5th hole,
way to go,
2. So
way to go, you and Steph Curry getting it done.
Me and Wardell
on the links this weekend.
Well, we got a lot of off-season time. So
now, do you qualify along with Steph as one of the great 2-sport athletes? You'd be softball.
Well, I would be
golf?
3. I got volleyball as well.
Okay.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying. But,
yeah. Well, I asked the question, so thank you. For being honest about it.
Just clarifying. 3. When you talk about me, get it right. It's 3-sport athlete, please.
Okay.
Not many of those. I just
Right.
want we were talking about the 2-sport athletes. Can you even give me a 3-sport athlete? I don't know if those exist.
Jackie Robinson?
Okay. I just no. Okay, that guy. Maybe that was a long time ago. It's different.
Was baseball, football, track? I know
Yes.
he played. Yeah, I know
Did he play football? Wow.
Yeah, it's UCLA.
he's-
Actually,
yeah,
did not
check
know
out
that. Wow.
his there's some video of him playing at UCLA. It's like, oh man, this guy is just
Really?
an
I've never
absolute
seen
stud.
that. I knew he played there. I'd never.
What did he play?
Running back.
Running back, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was what I mean,
Bell
like
cow back.
it was such a long time ago. I mean, like you're choosing a sport. Well, baseball has the most money, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Interesting. Didn't know that. Well, me and Jackie, one and the same. So, what can I
There
say?
you
We're
go.
just 2 legends, just, casually.
Yeah.
Casually
Back then, like
3-sporting it.
baseball was the sport, and I don't.
Absolutely.
I'd have to check, but I don't think it is anymore necessarily.
No,
We'll have to
I
check
think
on that.
I think if you ask every 10-year-old out there, there's no interest in baseball. It's dying. It is slowly. Actually, not so slowly, but it's dying.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's sad. I mean, it's a great sport. It's really fun
It's
to
having
play.
a little bit of a bounce back year, but
It is. It feels like it
little
is.
bit.
It's the younger guys. I think are they're really fun. They're starting to embrace some of the funner elements of baseball. It's just you got to get the entertainment factor up watching in person. Me and Chris were actually talking last week about how the Savannah Bananas were coming to Wrigley Field. Tickets sold out in 10 minutes. That's not happening for any baseball, and it's the same sport. It's actually not professional. It's not a professional league, and yet you still have semi-pro. I guess.
whatever.
Yeah.
I would say it's more like the Globetrotters of baseball.
Yes, I guess. Right. But it's just figuring out what about that is drawing people that the average normal game isn't. I don't know. I don't know enough about Savannah Bananas baseball.
It's the
but
yellow
that's
uniforms.
probably right.
Yeah.
It's just I think it's
Dressing up
more
like
just
a
the
banana.
fun. I think it's more just the fact that you can go there and have fun. And for whatever reason, baseball is. I think they're slowly starting to figure out what people think is fun. But people just I think general public or kids at least don't think watching baseball is very fun.
Is this something, switching over to the National Basketball Association, meant to bring this up earlier, is this something? Joel Embiid, we're in the era of player empowerment now. We don't know what's going to happen with Dame, or we think we know. We don't know what's going to happen with James Harden. Joel Embiid said something kind of interesting in an interview with Maverick Carter. It took place Thursday at the Uninterrupted Sports Film Festival, although the video of the conversation gained steam today on social media. Joel Embiid talking about his NBA future. Let's listen.
I just want to win a championship, whatever it takes. I don't know where that's going to be, whether it's in Philly or, anywhere else. I just want to have a chance to accomplish that. I want to see what it feels like to win that first one, and then you can think about, the next one. It's not easy, but, it takes more than, 1, 2, 3 guys. Gotta have, good people around you, and myself, every single day I work hard to, be at that level.
On the one hand, all right, what he said is self-evident. On the other hand, I want to win one in Philly or wherever that's going to be. Is this something? Is this something the Sixer fans should be concerned about? Is this type of talk good for the NBA?
First off, I would say it's probably something I would be a little concerned about if I'm a Sixer fan. The fact that he's envisioning himself at all not on the Sixers, especially winning a title, it's definitely something to raise some ears at. I think it's never fun to hear your star player talking about. Yeah, I mean, he definitely mentions winning a title in Philly, but saying or anywhere implies he's kind of like every other NBA star, where he acknowledges, yeah, it'd be great to do it here, but at the end of the day, this is my legacy, and I don't want to be talked about like Charles Barkley. Like, they can't do a TNT segment without mentioning the fact Charles Barkley hasn't won a ring. And it's unfortunately how the conversation goes with basketball. If you're not going to get a ring, you're never going to be viewed in that echelon of some of the best players ever. Like, Embiid right now isn't in the conversation for top 10 centers of all time. We were just having that conversation about Jokic. He's got an MVP. He's got a lot of personal accolades. He's just got to get the championship in order to kind of be taken seriously.
My opinion on this was shaped by a peek at his contract, which I wasn't aware of when I first heard the comments. I was vaguely aware, but he signed a 4-year, $213 million deal, an extension in 2021. It runs through the 2026-27 season. So it averages more than $52 million per season. So to me, if I were a Sixer fan, I would rather he say, I want to win here, and we're building a winner here, because he's getting 50. Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. He's getting $52 million a year through 2027.
Yeah, you shouldn't be talking about anybody else.
76ers.
It's here. Yeah, it is not with the Sixers or anybody else. It is here in Philadelphia, where we are paying you a lot of money to be the
huge commitment to you.
Absolutely.
Are you committed to us?
Right.
Can you at least pretend you are?
Pretend, right? I know. Especially when you're under contract for the next 2 or 3 years. Like, you're not going anywhere anytime soon. I don't know where you're going to win a championship if not in Philadelphia, because again, that's where it's like, as a fan, and to answer your second question, I don't think this is good for the NBA. I don't think guys under contract talking about publicly, and Joel isn't directly saying, I want to win a championship, period. Philly, I don't care if it's in Philly, I just want to win. He did mention winning in Philly. It's just, you shouldn't be talking about anywhere else but Philly.
Right.
Like,
you don't even have to go there.
Right.
Unless it's almost like you're saying, it's not my fault we haven't won here.
Right. Yeah, it is a little bit of like, I mean, they've tried. I mean, Philadelphia has definitely tried. They tried Jimmy Butler. They tried to do the Ben Simmons thing. They tried to make that work. They drafted Markelle Fultz. Like, they've tried to make it work there. And obviously the James Harden situation has just completely blown up.
Embiid says he's hopeful Harden will change his mind. Do you believe him?
Yeah, I do, because that is probably the best way for them to win the championship next year, is by having the best collection of talent available. Is James Harden fit-wise the thing that makes the most sense for Philadelphia? I don't think so, especially not a unhappy James Harden. That just doesn't seem like a recipe for success, but they can't pivot off of him. I think I haven't heard any trade whispers about James Harden, but I don't think that it's going to get something of great value in return.
Yeah. If I'm the Sixers, I'm very disappointed there in the way he handled that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not
Maybe
how
he's
you
hard
PR.
to play with. Yeah. He and Ben Simmons couldn't get along. Well, we know that's Ben Simmons, right?
Right.
Now he and Harden apparently can't get along. Maybe he's not an easy superstar to play with. Maybe that's one reason why they haven't won yet.
I could see it. I mean, I heard Doc Rivers talk, I think it was on the Bill Simmons podcast, about how he kind of had to retrain Joel's mind to be like, his first couple of years in the NFL or in the NBA, he was not playing. And it was like, oh, it's okay, Joel, don't push yourself. We'd rather have you healthy. He had to get him out of, actively get him out of that mindset where it's like, you're going to have to play sometimes when you're hurt or when you're hurting. There's a difference between injured and being hurt. And Joel just for a long time had to be convinced of this is part of playing in the NBA, is not being at your 100%, but still showing up on a night-to-night basis. And I think last year was kind of a really big year for him where he played a lot of games, won the MVP, and, was able to stay relatively healthy. But he's got to continue to do that. And I think that could be why it's kind of hard to play with him sometimes.
Coming up, brace yourselves for a trade deadline that'll be unlike any other ever. Next, Whitey and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Whitey and Watkins.
Sactown Sports.
Catch the Oakland A's every weekend on Sactown Sports. Friday nights, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Sinking, that's going to get down for a hit. Around third to score is Tony Kemp. And the A's have taken the lead. Edge of the track, makes the catch. And the Athletics get a great win.
Sactown Sports, your weekend home for the Oakland A's.
Sactown Sports coverage of the Oakland A's is brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Byers Enterprises. I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It's Monday. Temperatures will still run warm this afternoon with highs in the range of 102 to 105. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Wildfires can easily engulf vulnerable homes. Safeguard yours with the Byers Fire Protection Package. Our one-piece seamless leaf guard gutters, roof shingles, vent covers, and more will help prevent disasters when wildfires hit. Learn more about fire hardening your home at thatsbyers.com.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network. Well, when the A's took the shortstop Jacob Wilson from Grand Canyon in the first round of this year's draft, it meant the A's had drafted a shortstop from Thousand Oaks High in 2 of the last 3 first rounds, going back to 21, when the A's took Max Muncy. And now Wilson, coached by his dad, the former big leaguer Jack Wilson, in high school, taken by the A's 6th overall. Ken Korak here, introducing you to the Xfinity 10G network. Xfinity is undergoing a multi-year network evolution, giving you a powerful connection today while building toward a faster, more reliable tomorrow. The Xfinity 10G network gives you the fastest internet with even faster speeds rolling out all the time. You also get a consistent and reliable connection when everyone's online, even during peak hours. That's a home run. If you want to learn more, go online at xfinity.com/10G.
Y'all ready to do it again, Sacramento? Country in the Park 2 is coming to Heart Health Park at Cal Expo Saturday, September 9th with Cole Swindell, Chris Jansen, Dylan Scott, and more. Plus, a mechanical bull, line dancing saloon, and all the food. Tickets start at $40 or grab your Coors Light Y'all Access passes for $125. For more info, visit SactownSports.com. Country in the Park 2, brought to you by Hoblet Dodge, E2 Family Winery, and Hyatt Vacation Club.
Dawn or dusk, I'm on the hunt. Skeeter here, Sacramento Yellow Mosquito and Vector Control District, and I'm wearing Skeeter Vision, night vision goggles that light up skeeters at dawn or dusk like the 4th of July. Mosquito, 12 o'clock. Got him. So fight the bite by wearing long sleeves and pants at dawn or dusk when they're most active. Apply insect repellent and drain stagnant water. It's a breeding ground.
Dawn or dusk, the Sacramento Yellow Mosquito and Vector Control District reminds you to fight the bite. For more information or to report problems, go to fightthebite.net.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you find the right customers. Spread awareness of your product or services. We can help build trust in your brand and services with a digital marketing campaign. Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing campaigns that deliver results. Don't wait. Get started today. Contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results.
Did you know about 1/3 of our lives are spent sleeping?
Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. If we're going to spend that much time in our bedrooms, then our bedrooms ought to reflect our personalities. I remember many weekend mornings when our kids would jump into our beds trying to coax us to start our days more on their schedules than ours. Naturewood Home Furnishings' huge bedroom sale is here, and there's no better time to find the perfect accent piece for your bedroom, or even better, to start fresh by designing your bedroom to fit your lifestyle. From a new mattress and foundation to dressers to nightstands to lamps and more. Naturewood Home Furnishings will help you create a space from simple to luxurious and anything in between. Just drop by and let Naturewood's team help you envision a bedroom fit for 1/3 of your life. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings right now for this remarkable bedroom sale. Off Highway 50 at Hazel, look for the water wheel.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Christopher Lott with your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings ended their summer league with a 92-84 win over the Bucks. Kings rookie Jalen Slauson led the team in scoring with 17 points to go, along with 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. Kings end their summer league series with a 3-2 record. Tennessee Titans are expected to sign free agent wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. According to ESPN's Deanna Rossini, it is expected to be a 2-year deal with the base salary of $12 million that could reach up to $15 million the first year with incentives. Those are your headlines. Let's get back to Whitey and Watkins.
We've got a trade deadline coming up that's going to be unlike any ever in any sport. Before we get to that, I want to circle back to something I mentioned a bit ago. I mentioned you were definitely right about a player, and I want to circle back to that because he's playing tonight in the Summer League Championship game. We think he's playing. I want to give you credit for calling your shot on Imani Bates so far. Obviously, when we first started talking about him as a prospect, we weren't discussing how good he was going to be in Summer League.
Right.
We're talking about whether he has a future or not. But you were very high on him before kind of cooling. But I got to give you credit for initially being high on Imani Bates, who's helped the Cavs get into the Summer League Championship game.
Yeah, I mean, woohoo! The pedigree speaks for itself. Used to be the top high school recruit in the nation as a sophomore and as a junior. Went through some just like the weirdest, in this NIL era, but also in this transfer portal and reclassifying era of college basketball. Just went through the strangest college process you could have gone through. Committed to Michigan State, decommitted, committed to Memphis. I think there were some recruiting violations with him and Penny. Completely wasted his rookie or his freshman year. Went to Eastern Michigan, almost went undrafted. I mean, there was a chance he was going to go undrafted. Ends up getting picked by the Cavs and has done really well this summer league. 5 games, 16 points, shooting 41% from 3 so far in this summer league.
Wow.
He's shown the ability to be the shooter. That's the thing. I mean, that was the most exciting thing about him was his offense. Can he be, a real electrifying presence? That much is definitely check mark. I mean, I don't know what role he'll play in the NBA. Is he going to be a super sub off the bench and just kind of come in for 20 minutes and get buckets? That's what I would suspect for his first couple of years. But
is he going to make a team? There. I mean, hold on a little bit. Let's see. Is he even going to make the roster?
I think he's going to make the roster. He was the Cavs' only pick this year. They didn't have a first round pick. They used their only pick in the entire draft on Imani Bates. He's kind of their prize right now. He is their developmental project. Cleveland is an interesting team. I think they kind of got swept under the rug last year, especially in the playoffs. Like, they had a very disappointing exit, lost in the first round to the Knicks. No one really talked about it. I mean, there was talk that the Cavs were truly one of the 3 best teams in that stacked top heavy Eastern Conference, and they laid an egg. And, Imani Bates, I don't think is going to make a big difference year 1, but
they could use shooting.
If he can be like a, Michael Porter Jr., like I said, give him a couple years to develop and just become a lights out starting player, but also a scorer. That's a really good piece and somebody who you got it in the 40s in the second round that could realistically, he could be a starter in this league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. We'll keep an eye on that. And we'll be watching, right?
Yes,
we're going to be watching tonight the Summer League Championship game.
Can't wait. Cam Whitmore versus Imani Bates. Get your popcorn ready, ladies and gentlemen. Get your popcorn.
I can think of worse things to watch.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sure.
Meanwhile, in baseball, the trade deadline is approaching. Yeah, I know. Yes, but this is a trade deadline potentially unlike anything we have ever seen in any sport ever, because there's a real chance that the Angels are going to trade Shohei Ohtani, who is one of the most magnificent humans ever.
Incredible. I mean, like this is, you're right. This is going to be like nothing we've ever seen. I was just thinking during the break, like, what even is trade compensation for Shohei that you feel okay with? I mean, obviously his deal is expiring. There's no guarantees that whatever team he goes to, he'll sign with. But you're also still trading for Shohei Ohtani and the opportunity to get a first impression with him before everybody else, before he hits free agency. That's really valuable. And I just don't know what you would like all top prospects. Do you give them ready now players? I mean, it's really whatever the Angels want from your organization.
Well, if you were the Angels, first of all, would you trade him? You keep him.
I think so.
And there's a chance he leaves, a good chance, and then you get nothing.
Yes.
You could actually trade him and maybe you'd still have a chance to re-sign him.
Sure.
But they were winning and then Trout got hurt and then they fell on hard times and I think they're under 500 now. So, he's talked about how he wants to win and it doesn't look like that's going to happen here. So it looks like he'll be looking for greener pastures. I'm with you. If I'm the Angels, I'm looking to trade him.
Yes.
And I'm going to want a lot.
Yes. I mean, the Angels, they've had their chance. They've played with Ohtani the last, however, 4 or 5 years. They had their chance to try and make it work, not to mention Mike Trout and trying to make that work. They've shown that doesn't matter the talent.
Trout can't get it out.
It's not going to work. It's just that organization is cursed or whatever you want to say. They just can't figure out how to win, even though they have two of the most talented players that we've seen in this generation.
If you're the Giants, would you make a play for him?
I would. Yeah. I think that's the Giants would have a really good shot of making a good first impression. Giants have been really good this year. You can add to this season, but also show him what it's like. No pun intended. Show him what it's like to get into this organization. And Giants have a winning track record. It's obviously been a while since they've won the World Series, but
that was kind of a Chris Paul laugh.
It was a Chris Paul walking off from Steve Kerr laugh. If I were the Giants, I would absolutely hop on the opportunity. And frankly, like this is a great opportunity to nail a guy that's just doesn't ever come around. And so I would be willing to throw whatever it takes to get.
The only reason I would consider it, it's kind of not the way Farhan does things. He's more measured, but if you're, I think it's at least 75% that he ends up going to the Dodgers.
Ugh.
That's where he's going to sign.
Right.
So I got to prevent that. If I'm the Giants and I could have a shot at maybe, like you say, showing him, look, this is what it's like here.
Right.
You should come here. And maybe that decreases the chance that he goes to the Dodgers. And maybe it maximizes my chance to keep him and sign him. Even if those chances are slim, It gives me my best chance. I would really seriously consider it.
Yeah. I mean, just
he's going to the
fill
Dodgers.
that propaganda all year. Just put it in his ear. We hate those guys. Oh, the Dodgers. Oh, don't ever. The Dodgers, just wherever you go, not the Dodgers. Just keep putting it in his ear. You're right. Like, it's not even, it's not what you were saying, but it is, if you're the Giants, you do need to look at this from it seems like he's going here. How can we do anything
and on those nights
to
when
muck
it's
up
cold
those
and
waters?
foggy at Oracle, I'm calling him going, oh, no game tonight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't have a game. Yeah.
You ever heard of a fog delay? Oh, yeah.
No, I'm not telling anything about the fog.
No,
I just don't want to see it. Like, weird scheduling quirk. The other team's not able to make it. We'll get back to you.
Yeah.
We'll let you know.
Yeah. I would.
I want him to stay.
Shohei, the pitcher, would love that park. Shohei, the hitter, maybe, I think. But I think that it's you pointed at it there. If you're the Giants, to me, this is an opportunity to try and do the best you can to try and stop this Shohei train from going to LA, because it just seems like it's full steam ahead at this point.
I know. What would Rami do? We'll find out when Rami joins us for story time next. Whitey and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Whitey
and Watkins
on Sactown Sports. The Kings are running it back.
Hammers it off the dribble against Gobert, and he was fouled. Oh my, what a take that time by Domantas Sabonis. Eludes Gobert, drives strong, two-hand flush off the dribble, thrown down by Trey Lyles.
And welcoming some new faces.
Yes, Toby Jones for 2 more.
Now they go to Duarte in the corner for 3, and he rains it down.
Keep it locked on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com for the latest Kings news.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave, and I recognize, just like my friends at American Energy Heat and Air, that your time is important. And that's why shopping for a new air conditioner is now easier with American Energy Heat and Air's online quoting tool. All you have to do is go to AmericanEnergyAir.com and get an instant quote right now. It'll help you determine what system you're going to need to get. It'll provide the best pricing options, all from the comfort of your home without having to have somebody come to your home. You know how annoying that is? They come in and everybody there is so sweet and nice, but how much better is it to be able to get it on demand? Visit AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out how easy it can be. Or if you want to give them a call and talk through what your needs are, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-330-1991. That's 1-800-330-1991. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-330-1991. SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
At Elk Grove Honda, we see every Honda buyer as a member of the family, so we make sure every certified pre-owned Honda is one we would buy from ourselves. At Elk Grove Honda, we include many benefits that a private seller just can't match. Our Honda-trained technicians only certify our Hondas if they pass a thorough 182-point inspection, and our certified pre-owned Hondas are under 5 years old. So you know you're getting the newest Hondas in prime condition. See our exceptional selection of certified pre-owned Hondas in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or online at elkgrovehonda.com.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
I'm Craig Ashton of the Injury Law Firm of Ashton and Price. Whether you've been injured on a bicycle, as a pedestrian in a slip and fall, auto, Uber, Lyft, or big rig accident, you need Ashton and Price in your corner. When you call Ashton and Price, there's no chatbot telling you to hit 3 for accounting. You're greeted by a real live person who will immediately transfer you to an experienced attorney. The consultation's free, and there's never a fee until you win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Attention home services contractors who want to grow their business with more leads while leveraging their marketing costs to receive over 10 times the value in advertising. Subcontractors United is offering 40 home services contractors from architects to landscapers to participate in our advertising co-op. For less than $2,100 per month, you'll share in over $83,000 a month in advertising. That's $1 million a year in advertising for under $2,100 a month. And because there's only 3 subcontractors per category, not 3,000, your lead potential is unlimited. Generate more leads than you ever thought possible. Be one of only 3 subcontractors in a category and receive $1 million a year in advertising by leveraging the power of a united group. That's subcontractorsunited.com or Google Subcontractors United for more information. But hurry. Categories are filling up.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 916-277-8599 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Check out Whitey and Watkins now on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and watch the show from your desk.
JR on the YouTube chat says, yes, trade Shohei to the River Cats. And as Chris points out, if he comes to the Giants, that could very well happen.
For it. I'm all for it. We can get Shohei just even for 1 or 2 rehab assignments.
Yeah.
It's worth it for me.
I mean, he might be playing at the River Cat Stadium anyways if the A's play a season or two here.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. It's Christopher Lott. He's got story time just about ready for us. But first, let's bring in Robbie.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Avoiding the heat.
Is that a real thing that Chris just mentioned, that they might play in Sacramento?
That's kind of like one of the rumors that's been going around.
I think it's like something that Sacramento has gone out.
Would you want that? You're going to check out an A's game if they're playing at the
I don't think I'd be checking out an A's game. I'd be checking out who the A's are playing.
Sure. Yeah, I guess if a Shohei comes through. Or
that juju, I want no part of that whole thing.
Yeah. I'd probably go. I mean, it'd be cool just to have them in town for 1 or 2 years.
It would be weird to like go to see the Yankees at
Yes.
Park.
I know.
It really would.
Oh, yeah.
Probably not going to happen. If I had to guess. I mean,
I don't
things.
think it's happening.
Yeah, things seem to be unfortunately trending.
Yeah.
The
Well, there's
I wouldn't
Aaron
do-
Judge
I
at the
wouldn't-
Arden Fair Mall.
Back to his roots.
I wouldn't do anything outside right now. Not a baseball game or anything
Yes.
else. I am not doing things outdoors.
That's smart.
Yeah.
But what would you do if you were, say, running the Giants or another team and you're looking at this Shohei situation? There's a real chance that they trade him at the deadline. And I think it's almost a done deal that he's going to end up going to the Dodgers. So would you be interested? How much would you be willing to give up for half a year and then maybe you get him to re-sign? And we're talking about once in a lifetime Shohei Ohtani.
I'm not doing it for a rental. I'm definitely not doing it for a rental. That there would have to be some kind of contract extension in the works, pretty much already agreed to before I made that trade.
So if he said, I would really seriously consider signing with you.
No, because you look at the haul that you're going to have to give up to get him, and you're talking about giving up like a chunk of your organization to get Shohei Ohtani. You know what I mean? But it also depends. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to win baseball games, or are you trying to make money? Because nobody's going to make you more money than Shohei Ohtani.
Right.
Like, I don't know if you guys have caught an Angels game this year. I saw when they were playing, I think it was the Cubs a couple of weeks ago. I was probably watching the Cubs. That's most of the baseball I watch. And they have signs all over the stadium in Japanese because so he has such a large following in Asia and especially in Japan that they're drawing a huge audience that not a lot of baseball teams, not a lot of professional sports organizations necessarily have at their disposal. You know what I mean? So if you want to make money, trade the world for Shohei Ohtani. Money. If you want to win baseball games, it's a little bit of a different equation.
Hey, would you like to hear "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" in Japanese?
I would love to.
Yaku e ikimashou.
Oh, he was going to do it.
Shito no Krakajako kate kudasai. Ichi nichiju koko ni itai home. Team wa ichiban desu. Zannen deshita ne. Ikai, nikai, sankai, strike out. Yaku ni ite. There you go.
Was that real?
You say crackle.
No, wait. You think he just made that
I
up?
don't know. That was amazing. I don't know.
That was incredible.
Why do you know that? Do you know Japanese?
My wife's Japanese.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right.
Wait, but why do you know that song specifically? Like, have you been to Korean baseball games? Or you
I just thought I've some of that is a little off. Some of it, but yeah.
Do you know what the words mean, or are you just saying that phonetically? Really?
Yeah.
You said crackle jackal?
Cracker Jack. That would be Cracker Jack. I was like,
Right.
Cracker Jack, kate good.
Okay.
Give me a Cracker Jack, please.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow.
Whitey.
I'm impressed.
That's
I am
incredible. I
thoroughly
mean,
and legitimately impressed.
yeah, I just thought that was a rhetorical question. Like, would you like to hear it?
I was like,
sure,
that'd be
yeah.
interesting. And then you actually belted
It's
it
like,
out.
when you play the Toronto Raptors, they do "Oh Canada." It's like, yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Wow.
Shohei pitches. Maybe.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was
incredible.
All right.
Man of many talents.
That's nothing compared to this because it's time for story time with Christopher Lott.
Oh boy.
Interrupt this program for an important announcement.
It's that time of the day where Christopher Lott gives you the stories that you need to hear. Or maybe not.
It's Monday. I don't think I have anything too negative here. This one might be a little bit negative. This is from Florida, courtesy of the AP.
That's trouble already.
Floridians are having a terrible time at the beach, but the conditions might absolutely be perfect for Chris Watkins, if you remember how he enjoys his pools.
Very warm. Bath water.
Record global ocean heating has taken over Florida. Water temperatures around the state are coming in at 95 and 96 degrees in shallow water, and temperatures are about 90 to 93 degrees around other parts of the state.
No, man, you're cooking in that. You're like literally almost
Close to
like
boiling.
a lobster or a crab boiling alive. And what? No, man. What?
University of Miami hurricane researcher Brian McNulty said it's like dipping into hot water. It doesn't even cool you off in the summer. You're just going in and coming out wet.
Oh, no.
Researchers are saying water temperatures are about 5 degrees warmer than normal this time of year. And it doesn't just make for an uncomfortable swim, it also destroys coral reefs and starts coral bleaching. Coral bleaching. If things going to get worse for Florida, they were also getting Africa's Saharan desert sandstorms coming their way.
Really?
Yes. Miami's National Weather Service meteorologist Sammy Hagar said plumes typically stay 2 to 3 days and dry the atmosphere, so there are fewer afternoon rains, but there is one positive. The sunlight bouncing off the dust particle produces more vivid sunrises and sunsets.
Oh, beautiful.
It's a trade-off. Yeah. It all evens out.
In general, it makes the sunrises and sunsets more vibrant and beautiful.
Wow. That's a real plus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're covered in dust and dirt and
boiling alive.
But look at that.
Sun's pretty.
Look at that pretty sunset.
Gorgeous.
honey.
Cotton candy skies, guys. Come on. Couldn't think of a better way to go out.
We're all doomed.
That's incredible.
Sorry.
It does also sound great. 93-degree water. It might be a little excessive,
really
but like
go in and
it's a lot
like
better
pull
than
out,
cold.
like you say, a crab or something. It's like it's ready to eat.
Yeah.
It's prepared for you.
Yeah, it's like how you cook
Lobster.
eggs like on the street. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, I just pulled out this ready to go lobster.
Florida is just not fit
It's not a
for
real
human
place.
existence. Yeah,
Okay.
that's not a place. that
Enough of
anybody
Florida. How
needs
about
to
we go
be.
to Texas?
Okay.
Sure, yeah.
Mineral Wells,
Okay.
Texas. This is courtesy of WFAA. So I've said on a couple of times that there's been this talk about 4-day work weeks
Yes.
for businesses.
Very for it.
Now there are 4-day school weeks. Superintendent John Kuhn is saying that they are seeing positive results when they change the school year to a 4-day school week for the 2022-2023 school year. John Kuhn said the school district had a problem where teachers were leaving the district for neighboring schools, where other districts offered a 4-day school week. Kuhn says since they made the change, teacher attendance has improved, which led to savings in substitute expenditures.
Is it a longer day?
No, it's just a regular 4-day.
Only
4-day
4
week.
of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Kuhn
Really?
says,
They didn't add any extra hours to the day.
no.
Really?
So
That's great. Where was this when I was in school?
For real?
not only had teachers improved, but Kuhn said that testing has also improved for students. This is something that might be here to stay if they get their choice. 97% of teachers in the district say they like the change, and 96% said they would want it to be permanent. Students, 94% like it, and 93% say they want it to stay. But the important ones are the parents. How do they feel about it? 86% of high school parents said they were happy with the change, 94% of junior high school parents, and 84% of elementary school parents.
They're all in favor?
They're all in favor
Really?
of a 4 days.
You know what? That's great because if there's anything they need in Texas, it's less education.
Less education. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Great point.
So even though the decision is widely positive, it still might not matter. John Kuhn said the legislature took a good look at the 4-day work week last session, and a lot of legislatures are against it. He said that his concern is that it turns into a political football.
Yeah, because everything is a political football. Why can't we do stuff that everybody wants? You know what I mean? Like every year, I hear there's some bill that's bipartisan and unanimous that we're going to do away with daylight savings time. We still have daylight savings time. Everyone wants a 4-day work week. Can't we come together, red, blue, north, south, east, west, and agree we don't want to work so much? Can't we? We all agree, right? We all agree on that?
Yes.
Come
Yes.
on, America.
Yes, sir.
Get it together. Get something done for the people.
Nothing else to add there.
He's all
Man.
warmed
Rami
up.
Malkoff.
Yeah.
Rami, not a fan of daylight savings.
At all.
What else is coming up today?
We'll talk some Kings and what they do with
Tactical.
what they do with the roster now that the summer league is concluded and a bunch of guys got
still
their
one more summer league game, the
auditions.
championship game.
Well, yeah, there is a
the
championship
Kings.
game. Yes, but as far as the Kings, the summer
Yes.
league
Right.
is over. And a buddy of mine, one of the brightest, funniest football minds I've ever come across in my years in the media industry, Matthew Collar. He wrote a new book about Pro Football Focus and analytics, and they're sort of working their way into the football world and just all things football. The man knows the sport inside and out. He'll join us at 2:30 and much more.
Awesome. You and JJ today, right?
Yes, sir.
We're looking forward to it. See you tomorrow, Chris.
See you tomorrow.
Thanks for listening. Rami and JJ next right here, Sactown Sports.
It's the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa. Thursdays at 6 p.m. and Saturdays at 8 a.m. on Sactown.